All right, we are live. We're live on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. Let's go. We are up and running. Jason's in the building. Mandarius is in the building. What's up, Mandarius? Welcome in. How are y'all feeling today? Bexlin's in here. What's up, Bexlin? Welcome into the stream, y'all. What's up, Jake? Welcome in. If y'all are over on TikTok, do me a huge favor. Make sure you're tapping the screen, share out the live with a few people. We're gonna get rolling with some music here in just a couple minutes. Blue Keys, welcome in. Chills, welcome in. Or Chili's, welcome in. Mandarius, I appreciate you tapping in. Thank you for hopping in. I'm good. How about you? I'm doing pretty good. It's been a long day. I'm tired, but it's been pretty good. Thank you so much for the follow as well, Bexlin. Thank you so much for that. Make sure y'all tapping the screen, share out the live with a few people. Don't forget to repost, send your heart me, stuff like that. It does really help out the live stream. If y'all are coming in for the first time, of course, let me know where you're joining from. If you make music, let me know about the kind of music that you make, so on and so on. We're going to chat for the next 5 to 10 minutes or so, and then we're going to get rolling with the music, which is at the link in my bio if you want to submit for that. Try Ghost Party by over tonight. Link in my bio if you want to submit your music. I will explain the whole live stream, the structure, kind of the format of everything we do here in just a couple minutes. So if you want to know kind of the whole main format and the structure of what we do, that is I'll explain that in the next 10 minutes or so. I just want to get all of the different platforms rolling, get everything moving here. Bottle Export, welcome in. I appreciate you joining. How you feeling today? Rain's in the building. What's up, Rain? Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate the submission. Addison's in the building. Hey, I'm from Northern Ireland. I'm new here. Welcome in, Addison. Thank you so much for tapping in. Cal Rules, if you would like to submit, it's at the link in my bio. Yeah, if anybody wants to send in music, which of course I'll explain here in a second because there is kind of two very specific parts of the structure here. But if you do want to submit and you kind of already know what's going on, it is at the link in my bio. You won't send anything here in the chat. It'll just be kind of ignored. If you want to submit, it is all at the link in my bio. Rain is in the building. Rain, I hope you're doing amazing, man. Good to see you. Mohammed, thank you so much for tapping in. OHD, thanks for joining as well. Tony's in the building. Let's see, Caitlin Rose, thank you so much for joining the stream. Again, let me know if you're joining, where you're joining from, the kind of music you make. If you make music, let's talk shop a little bit for the next 5 to 10 minutes or so before we get into the music, which will happen in the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. Yeah, the link in my bio. Martine is in the building. What's up, Martine? Musa, welcome in. Thank you so much for joining. Hopefully we can get some other people from yesterday in here as well, as I did have to save a chunk of submissions from yesterday when I got off the live. So I'm hoping we can get some people in from yesterday. Axel, welcome in. I appreciate you joining. Jelly Bear, thank you for your submission. I appreciate it. How y'all feeling today? Arch is in the building. Welcome in. Jelly Bear TV, good to see you. I see you over on Twitch. Thanks for tapping in. I'm doing pretty good. Toby Backup, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. Joanna, welcome in. Hakuna, welcome in as well. I appreciate y'all joining the stream. How are y'all feeling today? Sophia's in here. Welcome in. Let me double check some things real quick before we get rolling here. First time submitting a track, Jelly Bear. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate you joining. If y'all want to submit music, I see y'all on TikTok. Everything is at the link in my bio. I will explain the whole structure of the live stream in the next couple minutes. I'll explain there's 2 lanes you can submit to, and I'll explain kind of what happens in each of those in the next couple minutes. But I appreciate y'all joining. Thank y'all so much for hopping in the chat. Let's see. Thank you for the follow, Sophia. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. First time submitting a track, but been a lurker a few times. I'm so glad to hear it. Thank you so much for sending in the track. I'm excited to get in some music here in the next couple minutes. We'll get things kicked off. I see you, Rain. I see you. Let's see. Daba sent in earlier, and then Jelly Bear. I see you on there as well. Thank you so much for hopping in. If it's not your music, this is for your music. So if it isn't music that you're connected to in some way, that's what this whole live stream is about. So if you are an artist, you're a producer, you're a session musician, you're an engineer, you're a songwriter, you're a vocalist, whatever it may be, that's what this live stream is all about. So this is talking about your music. We're breaking down, consulting on your music. So if it's not you or someone that you are, connected to or, related to in some sense as far as building the music, then that's not what we're what we're doing here. So don't request stuff in the chat. Don't send in, popular artists. People will just randomly be like, play the song by Juice WRLD. That's not what we're doing here. There's plenty of other live streams for that. The main structure of this live stream is to help musicians, artists, producers, vocalists, songwriters, engineers, and oftentimes we'll even get people that represent those people. So it might be labels and agents and managers and stuff like that as well. But yeah, if y'all do want to submit, it's at the link in my bio. We'll get rolling with music in just a couple minutes. A fellow artist and music reviewer with the Song Pros. Love to see. Hey, thank you, Jesse. I appreciate you tapping in. Thanks for joining the stream. Very inspiring. Literally changed my personality in my state. Let's go, Vlad. That's awesome. I love hearing that. Michael's in the building. Michael, thanks for joining the stream. How are y'all feeling today? We're going to get rolling here in a second. We're just getting a couple things moving before we get flowing here. If y'all are coming in on TikTok, I would love to know where y'all are joining from. If you make music, talk to me about the kind of music that you make, and then we'll get moving here in a second. I really enjoy your review. Okay, I'm glad you've been here before, Jesse. I appreciate that. Was it Jess Lee? Sorry, I can't. Is it Jess Lee? I can't see. My screen is terrible. I'm like, I feel like I'm 70 years old. I'm like, huh? What's going on? I'm like, is it Jess Lee? Is it Jess Lee or is it Jesse? I can't tell if it's an I. I can't tell if it's an I or an L from this far. Jelly Bears from the UK. Let's go. Jess Lee. Okay, perfect. I was like, dude, I feel like, huh? I need like binoculars to see it's not even that far. It's like 3 feet away from me. It's all, the chat's all small over there. It's like, what the hell am I even looking at here? Let's see. Theo, thanks for tapping in. I appreciate you being here. The weirdest first name. No, not at all. I got it. I got it. Richard's in the building. What's up, Richard? Thanks for tapping in. Jelly Bears from the UK. Welcome in from the UK. We are global today. Let's go. As it turns out, velocity and offset is very difficult. Whole different skill. Yeah, automation of velocity is going to be a different animal for you. Obviously, just inputting what you're doing with your VSTs Anima is going to be, one part of the battle of just creating the sound design that you want. The other side to that, of course, is going to be making it feel more realistic, making it feel a little bit more organic, so it doesn't feel like rigid or sterile or too quantized, so on and so on. So I'm excited for you to dive into that world. It's going to be fun. Theo's in the building. What's up, Theo? Thanks for tapping in. Michael's from the UK as well. We got the UK in the building. Is anybody from USA? Just asking because I want to move there. If I had an opportunity, don't do it, Vlad. I don't know where you're from, Vlad. I don't know where you're from, but don't do it. It's not a great time. Luis, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for joining. All right. Ben, link in my bio. We're going to get rolling here in a sec. We're just warming up. From Russia. I don't think that situation can be worse in the U.S. There's a lot of nuance to that. There's a lot of nuance to that. I just don't know if this is like the place that I would be trying to go to for like a more simplistic way of living right now. Fergie's in the building. What's up, Fergie? Welcome in. I would try to go someplace like cheap and simple and low stakes. That's probably what I would be looking for now. I don't know if this is the hot spot right now. Okay, well, obviously that depends on a lot of factors. There's a lot of nuance to that, of course. Okay, let me double check a few things here really quick. Savas, thank you so much for tapping in. We are not listening to popular artists, but if you make music, if you are connected in making music in any way, then that's what this live stream is all about. Sophia, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. I see that. Thank you so much. James, welcome in. We located San Antonio, Texas. My wife and I were in Dallas for about 2.5 years, had a small studio up there, but now we're back in San Antonio for the time being. Who knows how long, but for the time being, we're back in San Antonio. And maybe I'm kind of enchanted by the Big Apple after SATC. New York's cool. Don't get me wrong. There's some cool aspects of being here, and there's obviously some great people, some beautiful spots here, but it's shaky. It's shaky to say the least. Well, in terms of music, it often feels like the U.S. is the center of attention. There's a big cultural output, of course. There's a huge cultural output, as far as as far as like American culture and like pop and hip hop music, country music, stuff like that. So, I mean, it's always going to be a hub of, I think a lot of music based cultural output, right? I mean, I think a lot of other genres and a lot of other nations are even borrowing from, American culture in that way. What's up, DTSK? My mom used to be a K-pop idol 15 years ago. Would you be her old? Yeah, 100%. My husband and I are music makers together too. We both produce and write. Dum, bum, bum. It's like this one. Yeah, if y'all want to submit, it's at the link in my bio. Just waiting for the next. Just waiting for that. I hate the limitations on TikTok's their chat. It's so frustrating. Do it when I cry every time. This wasn't the candy thing. Just perfect. Thank you for the follow, gallery. I appreciate that a lot. Then you opt out, DTSK. You opt out. And this is good because like people ask us all the time. Thank you for the heart me. I appreciate that. And thank you for the rose, Richard. Sorry if I missed that. Earlier. That's one of the things like this is for y'all's music, right? The reason why I say no popular artists is because people are like, play Ed Sheeran, right? And that's obviously that's there's no reason to break that down. I'm not going to spend any time breaking down a song that's already that popular. Man, it got like Nat in here. It's bothering me so much. And so this is about your music. So if you are very popular, you get popular, something happens, cool. That will still the point is then breaking down your music and investing some time and energy into getting into the nuances of what you're doing creatively and practically in your music. So that's what it's all about. That's what the focus is always going to be. Benny, I got you. Thank you so much for the submission as well. I appreciate that. Are there any songs in the queue? Yes, absolutely. We haven't even heard our first song yet. We're just chatting for a little bit. There's already 13 people in line. Lines can move pretty quickly. Just kind of depends on the live stream, so on and so on. Yeah, we're wide open. Yeah, we just got on DTSK. So yeah, and then John, I see you, John. What's up, John? Thank you so much for the submission. I appreciate that a lot, man. Incredibly generous. Thank you so much. Yeah, we just hopped on. We haven't even gotten started. Like I said a moment ago, we had 13 submissions. We're just getting things flowing. Just getting things flowing. If y'all would like to submit, it's at the link in my bio. How popular is popular to you? Ex-Leo by choice and Nova somewhere on the Reddit. Yeah, it's just your music. So the way that I format it is just I don't want to hear Ed Sheeran. People are like, play Blank Space by Taylor Swift. I'm like, there's no reason for me to do that. Now, let me caveat this a little bit. If you are like the session synthesis on Blank Space by Taylor Swift, and you want us to break down what you did on that song, hell yeah, let's go. Like that'd be awesome, right? But the whole point is the stuff that you. So if you're an artist, you're a producer, you're a musician, you're a session musician, you're a vocalist, you're a songwriter, or you represent those people. You're a label exec, you're a manager, you're an agent, whatever. You're a part of a library, and you're trying to put some people on. Cool. That's all great. Especially on the consultation side, the main purpose of that is to really get into the details of the music. So that's only beneficial if y'all are the ones that are actually working on it. Okay, let me double check something really, really quick, and then we are going to dive straight into the music, y'all. We're going to be on for a couple hours today. This is a late live to me. I'm not typically live this late. I have been more lately just because I've been doing a bunch of other work and a bunch of other things, so sometimes these lives are pushed a little bit later, just as I'm finishing projects and other work. So, what's your music style? I like and work in and around a lot of different styles. I personally, just my own consumption of music, I love the 80s. The 80s are my jam. I love 80s synths. I love old analog stuff. So that's a lot of the world that I kind of live in. So I love Depeche Mode, Tears for Fears, Aha. I love Kavinsky, R.I.P., Adriatic, Mike Dean, the Midnight. There's, so many different, Time Cop 1983. There's a bunch of, artists and bands and stuff in that space. But I love synthwave. I love dark wave stuff. I love 80s, like 80s pop, alternative pop, stuff like that. There's a lot. But again, that doesn't mean a couple months ago I was working on a co-writing and doing some collaborative production on a country artist that was in Nashville. Chris, I forget his last name. Chris something. I was doing some session work for him, so I was like tracking some keys, tracking guitars for him. And I worked on a progressive metal track a couple months ago as well. So it's a little bit all over the place. A little bit all over the place. We're not listening to One Less Lonely Girl for one. That is a very popular artist, and also there's just no point in submitting that in this particular structure of the stream. But let me refresh over here really quick and make sure that we're up and ready to go. We should be good on all three platforms that we're live on right now. So let's dive into the music. Shelby's in the building. What's up, Shelby? Welcome in. Yeah, I love the 80s. I love interesting song structure. I love like intentional production build outs. And that's one of my favorite pieces of like listening to like Tears for Fears and Depeche Mode and stuff like that. The progressions were weird and quirky, and the structures are like interesting and engaging, and the dynamics are like wild. The sound design is just funky to listen to. They used like weird stuff. Like, I don't know. I love it. I'm just a big fan. It's a lot of the way that like I try to approach what I'm making in here, whether I'm doing my own stuff or session stuff for someone else. I'm just a fan. I'm a fan. Like I love 80s music for that reason. Just feels very, it was so much more challenging, I think, obviously in like the 70s and 80s to record. I mean, obviously before that, of course, but even into the 70s and 80s to record that, it's just there. It took so much money and time and attention and just so much effort to do what they were doing, that they were just they were locked in. The musicians, I mean, you go back and like watch videos of like, it's cool if some of y'all know Anthony Marinelli. He's on YouTube, but he's one of the synth programmers on Thriller and a bunch of other like crazy albums. He's an incredible synthesis, phenomenal piano player and producer. He's amazing. And you go watch some other like videos of his where he's like working with the actual like synthesis for like early Michael Jackson records, and like every musician on these records, every step of the process was like the most prolific, skilled musician, producer, engineer, whatever it may be, that was out there. Like everyone was the best at what they did, and it shows. It shows in the musicianship. It shows in the structure of the music. It shows in the way that they built out songs and sound design choices and stuff like that. It's incredibly fun to watch. Get Torvik 87 Red Bulls by Tuesday. Man, that would mess me up. Stripe is in the building. What's up, Stripe? Welcome in. All right, let's get into it, y'all. We're going to dive into some music. Let me go ahead and give my spiel. If you want to submit, it's at the link in my bio. Please don't submit in the chat. But if let's get into it. Let me get my spiel really quick on the structure of what we do, and kind of the order and how things function here in the Track Talk live stream. For one, if you have never been here before, welcome to Track Talk. Welcome to the stream. I'm so glad y'all are here. Thank y'all for joining, for spending a little bit of time on what for me is a Sunday evening, late Sunday evening. I appreciate y'all being here. Thanks for joining the stream. If you have never been here before, there are two lanes that you can submit your music into. One is a free line. That free line, we will play up to 2 minutes of your song and then give you a quick note. Like I said, up to 2 minutes. Those are pretty short and sweet. And then a quick note on maybe, song structure or mix or something like that. And then we move on. The main bulk of what we do here is our consultation line. The consultation line, those are 20 to 30 minute multiple listen consultations on the structure of your music. So those are going to be diving into mix and master, production elements, sound design choices, lyric and song formatting, digging into the details and the nuances of what you're doing both creatively and practically within the structure of your music. Those are not quick reviews. There's no trash or pass. There's no ratings. There's no polls attributed to the song. Those are long-form detailed breakdowns to hopefully give some specific, professional and actionable feedback on the structure of your music. For those of you who don't know, my name is Torvik. I'm a full-time audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That is what I do for a living. I've done it for the last 14 plus years. I'm also a classically trained pianist, so that is kind of the structure and the perspective of the live stream. I'm not here to roast you. I'm not here to trash you. I'm not here to tear you down. I'm not here to hype you up. I'm not here to get you exposure. That's just not the way we formatted the stream. It's not my priority when we get into making these, or when we get into breaking down these songs. It's really just to offer as much, actionable feedback and as much, as many very specific and hopefully valuable tools for you as possible. Okay, as far as submission goes, thank y'all so much for the heartbeats. I appreciate it. Admin, good to see you. As far as submission goes, if you are on TikTok, we are live on 3 different platforms right now. We're on Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok. If you are on TikTok and you want to submit your music, you can go to the link in my bio. Go to my profile, go to the link tree. You'll see a tab that says submit your music, see the queue. If you go there, you'll see both lines. You can submit for either the free line up to 2 minutes or the consultation line 20 to 30 minutes. Either one of those lines you can hop into. You can always skip. You can add to what you have. You can go faster, take your time, go slower. Doesn't matter to me. That's what those lines are there. That is also where you will see the queue. So if you want to see the order, the line, find where you're at, decide if you want to move and stuff like that. That is all at the same link in my bio on TikTok. If you are on Twitch, aka the purple app, you can type !submit right there in the chat. The link will present itself to you. If you're on the red app or YouTube, then you can go to the description of the live stream and the same link is there. It's the same link, all connects to the same place. It just helps keep everything organized for me, so I can make sure I know exactly the order of everybody here in the chat. But let's get into some music once again. You'll know because there's a free line and a paid line. There's a free line and a paid line. So if you're in the free line, you can see the order of where you're at in the free line, or the regular line, I think is what it's called. If you're in the paid line, you'll see the order right there. So you'll know exactly. If you paid, you're in the consultation line. Doesn't matter if you're at 10, 50, 100, that doesn't matter to me. If you're at, doesn't matter. That line only determines, you can see the queue there. That line only determines how fast you go. So if you want to go faster, you can. There's no pressure to do that, but that's up to you. If you want to go faster, you can. CJ's in the building. What's up, CJ? Thank you for the heart me as well. And also thank you for I see admin, Libby, thank you all so much for the heart me's. I appreciate it. But anybody in that line, if you're in the consultation line, you're getting the full breakdown. The order of that, the tiers and payment and stuff like that only determines how fast you go. So if you want to go faster, you can skip, you can add to it, some stuff like that, as people will over the course of the live inevitably. But that's what the line is for there. Hey, thank you, CJ. I appreciate it. All right, let's get into it, y'all. Deontay, thank you so much for the follow as well. Y'all keep tapping the screen, share out the live, repost, heart me, all that. It does really help out the live stream. And we're going to get into some music. We've got Tep in the building as well. Retracks in here. Ben, thank you for the follow. Thank y'all so much for the love. I appreciate y'all more than y'all know. John, I see you. Tep, I see you. DTSK, I see you as well. Rain's in the building. Benny the Bean number 2 in the building as well. Let's go. We got a back-to-back from Benny coming up in a minute as well. Let's dive in, man. We got John Castillo in the building. John, hop in the chat. Let me know what we're listening to. Sent in a shortened solo version here. This says my friend on it, looking for notes on harmony blending, structure, and production. Let's get into it. Official Kingdom, thank you for tapping in. Welcome in. All right, let's dive in. Let's dive in. It's a guitar ballad. I love it. Grandpa, welcome in. I still hate saying Grandpa, but it is your name on here. Thanks for tapping in. Is it Ella? Thanks for joining. Welcome in.
A love that was already lost. I'm not found the same way. Yet
what's up, Darrell? Good to see you, man. Thanks for tapping in tonight. Shout out to Retrack. And thank you for the music on stage and the code TTSK. Thank you. Thank you, man.
Though I know it's all my fault, friends to be is all I thought. I feel so bad for myself for what you made me go through. Emotions put out, but what can I say? Nothing filled me up like.
Which line are you in, Mandarius?
I care about you.
If you're the free line, don't worry about it. If you're in the other line, let me know and I can keep it for you.
I just want you to know that I really want to stay.
Nice voice, man. Great natural vibrato. Yeah. No, you're good. You'll be fine. No worries at all. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate it.
I get cozy in our old ways. I don't know.
That lower register is really pure. It's really clean. Great production.
Okay. So what do I do if I can't find the light? I'm alone.
Are you Benny the Bean?
Give me advice. I still know that it's all my
Okay.
fault. I get scared of the crazy I fall.
Harmonies are beautiful.
I feel so bad for you.
Nice. Nice.
For what I made you go through. Emotions poured out, it's all the same. Nothing really mattered anyway. I care about you, but I don't want to. Wanted to let my hand made. I just want
Beautiful.
you to know that I really want to stay.
It's always in order of the line. Always in order of the line. I got you. I'll mention something here in a sec, just in case. And I don't like telling people how long, because as soon as I say that, 4 other people could submit and skip or something, and I don't want to say something and then it'd be wrong in 10 seconds. But I got you. I'll let you know something in a sec.
I just want you to know that I really want to stay.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all show some love. Yeah, per person's about 20 to 30 minutes. 20 to 30 minutes per on the consultation line. If you're in the paid line, it's about 20 to 30 minutes per song. Y'all show some love. Show some love. That is John Castillo in the chat. Okay, really quick. Really quick for Ben, who is, I believe, Benny the Bean in the chat. If you're wanting to go sooner, right now you have just, and again, this is up to you. There's no pressure to do anything you don't want to do, right? Just keep that in mind. If for any reason you want to go, like you got to eat, sleep, work, you're at the casino, you want to focus on that and not be randomly doing other stuff. You never have to worry about missing your opportunity. Thank you for the start of hope. I appreciate it. You never have to worry about like missing your breakdown or anything like that. I will always save, if you got to leave or I get off at the end of the night and you haven't been heard, I'll always save it for you and boost you. So in the case that you sent in a 10 and you don't get heard, the next time that you come in, I'll be live again tomorrow. So the next time that you come in, literally you'll come in, you'll submit for free and I'll boost you to 15. You'll get a boost every time that you're not heard. That way you can hopefully move faster each time as well. The other option would be you do have, and again, I can't make any promises because I don't know who's going to come in and skip, so on and so on and so on. It'll be evening again. I would think, probably 6 p.m. or something like that. It'll be later tomorrow as well. The other option would be you sent in 2 10s for 2 different songs. One would be to just combine those and have one of them in the 20 or something like that. At least it increases your likelihood, unless, it goes crazy and a bunch of people skip past that too. Again, not something that I necessarily have any like foresight on if or that'll happen or not. But that obviously that would be a potential to hopefully get one of them a little bit faster. Obviously, completely up to you because you did submit for 2 songs. If you do want to do that, I can do it manually myself. So just let me know. Let me know if you want to do that and I can help you out there as well. Okay. I got you. Yeah. So just let me know which one. Let me know which one. I can do that right now. So you have Stuck in the Deep and you have Groovin'. And basically, yeah. But again, that's also the other thing that you could do is just save it. The other thing would be like, hey, come in tomorrow evening or next week. Doesn't matter to me. Literally anytime that you come back in, just let me know. And both of those will be in the 15 next time because you submitted both of those separately. So if you want to hang on to it, we can hang on to it, boost them both the next time to 15 each. Or if you want to combine them today. Yeah, up to you. Completely up to you. I know sometimes people come in right at the start of the live and like, oh, there's nothing, there's no one here. And then all of a sudden there's, 45 people in the chat and there's, 56 submissions. I think yesterday we had like 60 something submissions. So it can get crazy sometimes. Yeah. If you come back, and again, literally it could be tomorrow. It could be the day after that. It could be next week. Just let me know whenever you're back. You'd be like, hey, I submitted this, a couple days ago or a week ago, whenever it was. Submit your songs again for free and I'll boost it manually to give you, if you come back in today, perfect. Either way, yeah, I'm going to keep them in line. And then we can always boost it next time. But anyways, let's get through some more music. That way we can get to more of y'all. But let's get it. I'll keep them there. Probably 11. So I'm Central Time. Yeah, I'll be on till probably 11 or 12 Central Time, like another 3 hours or something, like 3.5 hours, maybe more. I don't know. We'll just kind of see. I do it until my ears need a rest, kind of, and then we'll get to work tomorrow as well. But yeah, I'll be on for a couple hours. I'm Central Time, so whatever that means to you, but I'll be on. Hell yeah. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Until the ears start ringing, then you know the music's done for the day. Okay, let's get it rolling. We got John Castillo in the building. Once again, if you want to submit, it's at the link in my bio. Let's run it, man. Let's talk about vocal structure for your BGVs versus your lead, positioning of that, timing of that to me is one of the most important things I think we need to dive into. There's some early and late moments as far as the input of that vocal. So your starting phrases, there's some delays occasionally. I think there's a big chunk of like your last hook where the BGVs come in like 20 milliseconds late, so they need to be notched again. And then there's a couple other portions where they're coming in early. So time aligning those vocals as necessary, I think is going to be really helpful to the blending. So some of what you're talking about as far as one of your questions was harmony blending. Levels and positioning is going to be a big help for that, but also just making sure that your phrases are starting. Another thing that I would do as far as blending your harmonies is when you're building harmony structure, a lot of what you're looking for is the weight of the chord that you're building as well as positioning and offering you some width and some openness from the vocal structure. It's not that we need to hear every little like syllable and every little transient of the vocal, right? We're looking for like adding chordal information to the vocal. So you want the mix to feel wide. You want it to feel like there's depth to it, right? So we add in these other layers. And so one of the things that I would probably do is you can tighten up processing on those background vocals, especially when it comes to like de-essing and stuff like that, where rely more on like your lead vocal to handle your phrasing and your like natural transients and stuff like that. So if you don't want to loosen up the lead vocal, you can keep that pretty natural. On your background vocals, you can probably do a little bit more to suppress those things because you really don't need like really crispy, clear S's and T's and C's and K's in the mix. Again, you're mainly looking for width. You're looking for depth out of the vocal stack. So if that's kind of what you're talking about, then you can be in similar, honestly, largely speaking, yes. So you can overdo it a little bit on particular processes on the background vocals so that not every little, phrase and syllable is slicing through the mix, right? Timing is going to be a huge part of it, right? So make sure that's priority number one. Correct timing so that those phrases align as much as you possibly can, and then get into some of the processing where you can subdue some of that in the vocal, so it's not too forward constantly, right? Otherwise, you're going to hear every start and stop of every phrase and every inconsistency of it, and that's going to be frustrating in a really acoustic record right now. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Let's get into a couple more details here, but I wanted to start there just because thank you for the rose, appreciate it. I wanted to start there because that's one of the main like quality issues within the vocal is just those inconsistencies. They're going to make it feel more noisy, or vocal line. Vocal line's great, but it kind of, the thing with the vocal line is you can get some artifact from it, right? If you are pretty dramatically, and I preach vocal line all the time. Project 5 vocal line is fabulous. It's so good. But if you're stretching some phrases longer, you're going to get some of those formants. You're going to get some of those like metallic stretches of, it's going to, it has some weird introductions to vocals like that. And that's funky, right? Josh, thanks for the follow. And so we had the lead vocal from my friend recorded after my BGV. So I'm trying to find their blend. Yeah. Whatever you can do to restructure some of the alignment right there. Jeremy, thanks for the heart me. That's going to be really important. And that might take some time, to be honest with you. That might take digging into Melodyne and realigning some things per vocal, or maybe realigning the lead to the backgrounds if the way that you process is a little bit backwards. Like, you really need to dig into that and that's something that's worth hours. That's something that's worth spending some time on. Thank you so much for the gifts, y'all. Appreciate it. That's worth spending some time on, because if you don't, then you're going to always have this like edge of amateur that's on the song where it's like, I like the song, it sounds good, but it's also kind of busy. It's also kind of noisy. And that last little 5% of the mix right there could be the difference between not that people don't like the song or do like the song, but more like it's unsettling to listen to, right? And so it's much less about like, do you have a good voice? Is it a good quality production? Is the overall master loud? Like more objective things like that. It's like, that's all great, but what's going to happen is like these subtle things of like, it doesn't feel good to like sing this hook with you. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't feel settled to encounter this last little pocket that we have right here because of all these timing issues. So it takes more work from the brain to hear it. It takes more work from the brain to dissect what's happening in the song as a consumer of the music. And if that's happening, if people are working really, really hard to hear a really chill acoustic song, then it's going to be one of those barriers to people really diving into the structure of your songs. Anyways, all that being said, focus on timing, positioning of those vocals. It's going to be huge. Whatever that looks like, whether you focus on BGVs or you focus on lead and you align one or the other, that is something I would take time on. That's something that, like, if I was handed that song and we're working into the mix, so on and so on, like I would be spending some time on there. A big chunk of my time would be spent making sure that the climax of the song doesn't feel busy, but it feels impactful and powerful. Okay, let's run it from the top. Let's get into some details here beyond that, and then we'll. Is this better than Backwoods 808? It's close. It's close. I'm just kidding. It's not. But let's get into it. Let's run it from the top. You know I love what you do. You know I love what you do, John. Gives me 4. Yeah, you better get those 4. You better get those 4 done. And this is it's a joke in the middle of people chatting here, but I also think that is a really good thing. So if your engineer says, "Hey, you got 4 takes on this," get your together. You know what I mean? When you're going into the studio, when you're self-tracking, send in comps. Comp your own vocals and send in solid takes. Go to the studio with your lyrics memorized, with songs ready to go, with ideas for your ad-libs already. Go in ready to go. Go in ready to go. I'll sit on the outside of other engineers that are like tracking people in their booths right on TikTok. It's fun to watch. Sometimes I'll go in and chat a little bit. It's just fun to watch like other studios and them tracking people live. It's great. But what happens a lot of times is you'll get people that are spending, sometimes $75-$80 an hour, to be, to track with an engineer, and they go in and they're like making up their song on the fly, and it's fine to freestyle, whatever. That's what everyone's got a different process, right? But they come in like they're messing around. They're messing around and they get frustrated when the engineer's like, "Hey, time's up. They got to go." And they're like, "Dude, I don't even know my song. I don't even know what I just sang." And then like half their verse is not done, right? Like go, if you're going to spend money on studio time and you're not investing in your own self-tracking, then come ready. You know what I mean? Like make sure you got your stuff together. Make sure you've got your lyrics laid out. And you're going to be ready to go. You're the drummer movie guy. Wait, what's the drummer movie guy? I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I'll like assume it is and say thank you, because I'm a happy person and I'll assume the best. Can't get the money back, definitely can't get the time back. Facts, 100%. And thank you for the follow, Christopher. I appreciate it. Drummer movie guy. That doesn't explain any more for me. Explain more. Say more. Drummer movie guy I'm just as confused. But let's keep it rolling. He's famous. Step stop.
I'm not found.
Whiplash. Wait, Miles, is it Miles Teller? Are you saying Miles Teller, dude? Are you saying that? Thank you for the hat and mustache, Jeremy. I appreciate it. Jeremy, thank you for the applause as well, and the love you so much. Sorry if I missed those. You're talking about Miles Teller. Just any white guy with a mustache is Miles Teller. That's so funny. Any white guy played music with a mustache is Miles Teller in Whiplash. Is so funny to me. Okay, I gotta focus, y'all. I gotta focus. We got John Castillo in the building. We gotta focus on this song. That's so funny, man. It's so just like any white guy with long hair is Post Malone. Facts, Boofy. Facts. What's up, man? Good to see you. It's like this. It's such a notch. It's such a like a niche right there. All right, come on. Let's get into it. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. Appreciate you.
A love that was already lost.
What's up, Destiny?
I'm not found the same way. Yet I don't.
I would highly. So one of the questions that you have is production build out and stuff like that. I would highly suggest that every 4 measures or so, we need a little bit of new information. I don't care if that's an acoustic track. I don't care if it's a full-fledged pop production. Every 4 measures or so, 8 measures if you want to draw it out a little bit more, we need a little bit of new information happening here. DTSK, thanks for tapping in. I appreciate you. Obviously, we bring some strings and some other elements, some bass that comes in a little bit more down the road. Love it, right? All of that looks and sounds great. But I would recommend that maybe even... let me back this up here. I want to get into... And Miles is cool. I'll take it. I've been compared to worst.
The same way.
All right, so we got D sharp major. Dun, 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 dun. Right, so we're kind of sitting there, right? Cutting the intro shortened version of the song doesn't drag as much. I kind of agree. You could definitely just write off the D sharp here. Just no intro. 2, 3, 4. And just like smooth it out right there. And keep that like really easy. Just like no intro, just first chord hits, and then boom, you drop right in there. Destiny, 100%. Any genre, any style, any language, any level of preparedness or quality. We're gonna hear people that have been producing music for a month and just started singing and writing their own tracks. We're gonna hear Grammy-winning musicians. It's all over the place as far as style and as far as quality goes. So there's no bias as far as any of that at all. Okay. I want to get into the series. So I do agree that as far as like cutting the fat, it is already a 4.5 minute plus song. So I think being a little bit more concise would be helpful, as well as building dynamic range a little bit sooner. So one of the things I would probably suggest is following that melody after your first like 4 measures or maybe 8 measures here, adding in like a high piano or a high Rhodes or a tine with some reverb on it in order to follow that same melody over the top and just give it a little bit more edge. And it can be very quiet. It can be very, very subtle. But I do think that every 4 to 8 measures, we need to add some very light new information. It doesn't mean drums need to come in like a whole different section, but I do think that we need just here. These gnats are killing me. The summer in Texas is brutal, y'all. It needs just a little bit of new information to help kind of elevate the dynamics very, very lightly and create some anticipation of the next section of the song. Do you do streams about 4 favorite movies? I do not. Track, but have you only give advice pretending to be Rick Rubin? Yeah, I'll get a big like a fake beard and stuff like that would be great. All right, let's get into the section here because I want to kind of tell you where I'm listening for this to happen here. So like let the vocals come in. I mean, the guitar sounds clean and clear. I don't mind it. San Antonio, Jason. No, you're totally good.
A love that was already lost. I'm not found. The same
Like let this run. B section here.
Yet I don't want to be empty. Life drove me
Just that.
to insanity.
Like even just having that little pop right there for me, it's so simple. We're not doing anything fancy here. Just 2 notes, right? A little bit of warmth from the low end of the piano. It needs E piano 1. It does actually. Right back there. It just a little bit, right? Just a texture, just a little bit of warmth, a little bit of texture. If you want to keep this as like natural and organic as possible, of course, I think like a piano, a Rhodes, like yeah, Rhodes are like 200E or would be nice. Just a little bit of that, little bit of warmth following the progression right there. So subtle, tuck it way in the background. But to me, it just takes your A and B section and gives it slightly different dynamics. Super subtle, but it's going to add a lot to what you're doing. Okay, let's keep it rolling. Yes, I do play drums. In fact, I just got a new kit. I'm super excited about it. It's beautiful. And then this would carry, right? So what you would do is, so now we go to the 4. Right? Carry, if you're going to start, if you do, you don't have to, of course. All of this is very stylistic. It's up to you if you want to add or do any of this. Feel free to ignore half of it. Just kind of talking about what would be additive to the structure. If you do bring in this little, you add in just a little bit of that, I would maintain having the piano going into what's kind of the hook here, because it'll maintain that depth and that warmth going into the next section.
It's all my fault. Though I know it's all my fault.
Just that, like simple and easy, nothing fancy.
I thought
Just drop this in MIDI if you have to. It's just nothing else. You don't have to do anything fancy. Rely on like the higher acoustic guitars to fill in some of the rhythms in there. Let the piano just be partially like this is your glue before you add the bass. So you have like high, bright, thinned out acoustic guitars. Those are great. You know, they're fine. They're a little bit thinned out, but I don't mind the way that they sound. They only can really hold their own right there if you add more depth later. You do with the bass, but I would love a bridge, right? So we have the acoustics, and then we have a sub bass that like comes in later that fills out a lot more. Thank you for the heart me. I would love to fill in the middle of that with something like, you know, an upright piano, something soft and dark and mellow that doesn't stand out too much. The guitars are already really bright. The vocals are already really dry and really bright. I don't think we need that. I think we need something wetter. So like a little bit of reverb on an upright piano and something dark and mellow to help fill out those mids just a little bit more. Let's get into like the bigger breakdown here because I'm going to get into those vocals and then we'll keep it moving.
Okay. So what do I do if I can't find the light? I'm alone.
Because this needs the body here. If we go back to this dynamic again, and again, what is here is pretty. Your voice is beautiful. Like you have a great natural vibrato, good pitch control. Like what's here is great. Wouldn't mind a hair of like a little bit of a plate reverb on there. Just like a second to a second and a half of plate reverb back in the mix with just barely anything on there, enough to just glue it to the rest of the production because the rest of the production is pretty spacious, right? It's really wide, it's really bright. There's a good amount of like reflection and stuff going on. And then the vocals super pointy and super dry. So I wouldn't mind just a hair. I don't need like a Valhalla reverb on there. I don't think anything crazy would be the move right there, but just a subtle amount of glue to the rest of the production. A little bit of a plate I think would do enough. Just a second to a second and a half, 5 to 10% on that vocal, or just run it on an aux, obviously. I think would be great. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Aziz, welcome in as well. Thank you for tapping in. And then now that we're deeper into the song, now we're almost 3 minutes into a 4.5 minute song. I think if you're this deep and we don't maintain some of that warmth of the piano and something in the low end of the song or following some of that melody, I do think that it will become boring. It'll become monotonous. Not because what's there isn't good. It's not a good voice, good lyrics and stuff like that. But just because dynamically we've been very, very low, added a little bit, but went back really, really, really low. And it takes what is like a whole song to anyone else, almost 3 minutes before we start to build out more of the production. So I do think in this first half, I like so much of what's going on, but we need a little bit more there to just grab people's attention, keep it engaging, keep it warm, create a little bit more depth. A piano or a Rhodes, I think, would be a great trick right there. Boring is definitely what I'm scared of with the extended version. 100%. So I think for me, if you don't want it to be boring, we just need, again, those stair steps. Whether it's like super simple, add the melody, go back down. Super simple, add the piano in the depth, go back down. Like we just need some shifts and turns so the whole thing isn't just... We're just hearing that acoustic riff at the top and then really simple strumming patterns. We need to wake it up a little bit, especially on an extended version. And I think a piano would be great at doing something like that. Maybe bringing some of the strings in earlier, like maybe some high string holds like drones would be great at the very, starting the second verse just at the very, very top could be nice. Like there's so many different things that we can do here.
Give me advice. I still know that it's all my fault.
So I'll add in the piano here, same thing.
I get scared of the crazy I fall.
Strings are beautiful. I love those though.
So bad for you.
So right here, background vocals a little bit late. It's just a hair late, and it's part of what's starting to feel noisier here. Line up those vocals. Add more warmth, add more depth, line up those vocals, and then push forward. Get those vocals, 2-3 dB forward in the mix with just a little bit of reverb on there as well. And Marcella, sounds good. Thank you for tapping in. I appreciate you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've already been through that at the beginning of the song. So like lining those up, making sure that they're polished and then push forward. I don't even necessarily think personal preference, of course. I don't even necessarily think they need more Melodyne just because of the structure of this and kind of the context of it. I want it to be a little. I think there already is some on there. And I want it to be a little bit more raw, but I do still think that it needs some space. Like it needs a little bit of reverb. It needs a little bit of just kind of connective tissue to the rest of the production, if you feel like diving a little bit deeper into it. But I think part of it is you're hearing pitches hit at different times. So the duh, we're hearing that hit like milliseconds apart from each other. So while one note is here, one note's already here, and then you're hearing them climb together. So that's also one of the things that's making it feel more out of tune as well, is like harmonies hitting at different times, and that's making it feel like there's some rub right there. There's some dissonance right there. So yeah, I think vocal structure we can polish, we can push forward, we can kind of glue to the rest of the production. But I think for me, one of the biggest things that we need is to fill out early in the song. That first 3 minutes is where we need to really dive into like what is going to fill out the production. And you have such a beautiful climax of the song later on. Like this ending of the song is so beautiful. It's really cinematic. Sounds awesome. But we need to get people there. And I think if we don't grab people in different moments early on in the song, they'll never make it to what is the most climactic part of the song towards the end here. So I would put some focus on that.
I just want you to know that I really want to stay.
Like keeping the piano in here. Keeping some energy at the top there. Foss, thank you for the follow. And then the guitar. Last thing I'll say, guitar in the background of the mix. So I like I love the little bends. I love the kind of almost like portamento in the background. I love what it's doing. It comes in a little shrill. It comes in a little bit abrasive right there. This is a very soft, acoustic, mellow record, and it should maintain that. That's coming in a little bit harsh. If we can soften that a little bit, some of the ringing and kind of the resonance that's happening at like 2000 hertz, 1500, 2000 hertz in that range right there. Find where that is, mitigate it just a little bit, soften it just a hair so that feels, that feels clean. It feels supported. Yeah, the harmonies definitely are going to be lined up, but it feels better supported. It feels better connected to the rest of the production there. That's going to be really important as well. But y'all show some love, man. I mean, it's a beautiful song. I've heard versions before, but it's a beautiful song. It's well structured. There's some great lyrics. There's some good melody structure in there. And musically, it's pretty. One of the main things I want to happen here is just make sure, for one, it doesn't get boring, right? Because I don't want a very, very good production to just kind of, just be forgotten about because people don't connect to it, right? So make sure that first 3 minutes has a little bit more engagement. It has a little bit more movement to it so that people can connect. There's more anticipation for the next moments of the song. Bring in some mids, you know what I mean? Like bring in some mids in the middle there as far as like Rhodes, piano, Wurlitzer, whatever it may be. Keep that really, really warm and really easy to listen to going into especially like second verse and stuff like that. And you're going to be in a great spot. You're going to be in a great spot because the song is good. The song is good. The structure is good. We just can't let it feel like it's 4.5 minutes, even if it is. We need some twists and turns. We need some dynamic depth. We need a little bit more instrumentation to just warm up the middle of the mix. If you can do that even incredibly simply, I think you're going to be good to go, man. And then, like I said, put some time, put some focus, put some effort into lining up those vocals, making sure that the relationship between harmony and lead melody is really concise, it's really clean, it's supported well, and then of course balanced in a way that feels really sharp and really polished. But man, y'all show some love, man. John Castillo in the building, Poured Out is the name of the song. Amazing, amazing, amazing. But y'all show him some love. Show him some love. Show him some love, man. I'm really, really excited for you. This is going to be a great record for you. Let's keep it rolling. Let me get this cleared here really quick, and let's keep it going. We got Rain Felix in the building. Let's keep it running. We got, let me see. First time here. How's it work to submit your music? Or thank you so much for joining for the first time. I appreciate that. Everything is at the link in my bio, depending on the line that you want to send in, but it is all up there at the link in my bio. Samantha, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it so much. If I want to go back and listen to the stream, are they saved on the Purple app? They're on the Purple app for up to 2 weeks, and then they are on YouTube indefinitely. So if you ever want to go back and reference a stream or like see your breakdown and not worry about like, taking notes and screen recording and stuff like that, you can always go back to the stream on YouTube. We're live there right now. As soon as the stream is done, you can go and re-reference things and, go back and screen record and clip what you need to or whatever you want to do. But yeah, it's all saved on YouTube long term. There's a whole playlist there called the Track Talk live stream playlist or something like that. And we got, well over 100 episodes recorded right there. So you can always go back and reference stuff. Just keep track of kind of, what day you were live and stuff like that. And that's all you need to know. Yeah, of course. Todd and welcome in. I appreciate you being here, but let's keep the music rolling. We got Rain in the building. I see you, DTSK. Thank y'all so much for tapping in. Marion, I see you. We got a bunch of people in here. So let's keep it rolling. We got Rain Felix. This is Petrichor. This is a much older song I recently revamped, mixed, and mastered it myself, but I feel like it's just not perfect yet, but maybe it's just my ears. That happens. Sometimes you need to step away from it for a while and kind of see what's going on. Let me know what you think. Thank you so much. All right, let's get into it, man. This is a family. We got Rain Felix in the building, Petrichor. Also, let people know, Rain, obviously I've heard your music many, many different times. Let people know in the chat what you do so they can learn a little bit more about your process and the role that you play in your music. Yeah, absolutely, Todd. In any language, any style, any genre, any level of quality. Some things are going to be really high quality that we hear. Some things are going to be very early demos. I've gotten voice memos of people humming to help them build chords and stuff like that. It's going to be all over the place as far as quality goes and as far as genre goes. So you don't have to worry about, is this all metal or is this all trap beats or something like that? It's gonna be all over the place. I got you. Okay, sounds good, Tep. I got you, man. I appreciate you hanging on for a little bit. Just let me know next time you're in, and I'll boost you again. The next time. So I'll I think you have 25 on there. I'll boost you the next time that you come in as well. That way you can hopefully get heard a little bit sooner the next time that you come in as well. All right, let's keep it going. Keep it going. And Marion, I got you as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for the follow.
I think I smell you in the rain. Oh, oh. Cussed out, would you give me a break? Oh, oh. I stomached everything you said. Oh, oh. I lost your number when you left.
Link in my bio. It's all good, man. You know it's love. I like the vibe. Man. Let's go, Rain. I like some of the Foley and stuff in the background. That's cool.
No, I thought I heard you call my name.
Hold on. There we go. Let's go, man. Y'all show some love. Rain, I like this, man. This feels very much so you. It feels intentionally produced, a little bit noisy. So we're going to talk about that just a little bit, just briefly. But I don't think this is like far off. I don't think like you said, you're like, I've been working on it for a while. Jacuzzi, thank you for the follow. I've been working on it, but it's actually, I think you said it's a couple years old, right? Yeah, it's a much older song. You mixed and mastered it yourself, but you still feel like something feels off. I understand, so deeply what it can feel like when you get too close to your song. You've been digging into something for a while, and you're just like, I don't even know what this sounds like anymore. You know what I mean? Like I don't even know what the song is anymore. You just get too close to it. And it can be hard to zoom out, man. So I appreciate you sending this in. Also, Marion, I appreciate you so much. Thank you for those submissions. I got you. Jacuzzi, sounds good. So we just to confirm, is this a stream to show people? To show music people made, or just to share songs people like? It is for your music. If you make music, then this is for you. So if you're an artist, you're a producer, you're a session musician, you're a vocalist, you're a songwriter, you're an engineer, or maybe you're a label, you're an agent, you're a manager, and you represent those people and you want feedback on what they're doing, that's what this is all about. Specifically on the consultation line, we are spending 20 to 30 minutes diving into the details of your music. So we go through it multiple times. We spend a lot of time really getting into the nuances of what you're doing. So that's what this is all about. So for that reason, we're not listening to popular artists. And by popular, I just mean not your music, right? Music that you have no ability to like kind of dig into and it wouldn't even necessarily be helpful or valuable in any sense. So that's kind of what the live is structured around, is offering some tools, some specific professional actionable feedback on your music. So if that would benefit you and what you're doing, or someone really close to you that's kind of working on their stuff, then that's what this is for. But let's get into it. Rain, like I said, I like what you're doing. I like the structure. I like the a lot of the aesthetic of your sound design. I think you have a really, really good handle on what you're doing sound design wise. The thing that I want you to dig into, UK in the house. Yeah, we got a lot of UK in here actually. The thing I want you to dig into is choosing, because again, I like most of what I'm hearing. It's really cool, and I think it sounds good. Your style is cool. Is being more intentional with where you're processing certain things and like which elements you process heavier, right? What it feels like now sometimes is that like everything is reflective and everything's loud and everything is set in ambiance. And so for that reason, it gets really noisy because like everything has a lot of reverb. Everything has like a delay or like a tight plate or a tight room or something on it. Everything's got like a distortion or a low formant shift. So everything's kind of forward, everything's loud, and we're losing some like dynamic range and losing some separation and clarity in the mix for that reason. It just kind of all feels bright and loud. And I like the things that I'm hearing that are bright and loud, but I think if we can pick and choose a little bit more, for one, we can like warm this up a little bit. We can darken it. We can warm it a little bit, as well as create just a little bit better separation between a lot of these elements so I can hear a little bit more distinctly what's going on. Because you're making a lot of like creative and interesting stylistic decisions, but they're kind of disguised by the other creative and stylistic decisions kind of stepping on each other's toes a little bit. So let's dig into that a little bit. But that to me is the main thing. I like the structure. I like the way your vocal comes in. I like a lot of the choices you're making on the production side. So I don't think you need to make any like crazy major changes. This is more on like how you approach adding like reverbs and delays and chorusing and formants and stuff like that. So let's get into it. Bruce, link in my bio. Thanks for tapping in today. But let's get into it. So just like acknowledging right off the bat, we have a lot of, nice, like, bright reverbs in there in the background. Again, nothing wrong with that. That can be a very frequency-wise or processing and modulation. It might be a little bit of both, right? It's going to be the relationship of all of these things together. So it's not really one stop. Agu, thank you so much for the follow. As an example, this is a super, super bright guitar, right? It's kind of set back in space and it's super, super bright. And then you have a really bright reverb on it. So what happens then is we have a bright element reflected for the next second and a half as you add in this like bright, plate on the other side of it, right? And then if you add in then a really bright vocal that then has, you have 10K push, nice. It's maybe got some fresh air on it. You have a bright, high saturated vocal, and then you have a bright hall reverb on there as well, like so on and so on. You get layers and layers and layers. Some of it is due to the main core source being bright as well. So like that's something you can maybe mitigate with EQ, but then it's also because then we're adding bright processing that carries it multiple times. We have a ping pong delay that comes in with the guitar or whatever it may be, and that's really bright and really open. So we're getting layers and stacks of brightness and high frequency excitement that's happening over time in the song, and that's what's making it feel kind of noisy in some instances. You can hear off the first elements. It's very bright guitar, nothing wrong with that, but it's a very bright guitar with a really bright reverb. And so one thing you could do is maybe filter this reverb just a hair. Early tomorrow, would you be able to save my? Yeah, dude, of course. Of course, man. Not a problem at all. Literally, let me know whenever you're back. Let me know whenever you're back, and I'll boost you. I know you're already high, so I'll boost you. I'll make sure you're good, man. I appreciate you tapping in. I know we got in a little bit later today as well. So one way you could do that is, for one, maybe bringing back the reverb on that guitar by just a hair. Drop it 5-10%, and then filter lightly. Yeah, exactly. Just take what is like a 12K reverb, drop it down to like 8, 7, or 8 or something like that. Still get the reflection, still get that that space and that depth that you're looking for. Well, maybe not maybe not being so in your face and so flashy. Take that, that kind of policy and copy it over to maybe a couple other elements that maybe feel like they're kind of running into the same thing. Dude, appreciate you so much, DTSK, man. Thank you so much for stopping in. I got you. Literally, let me know whenever, anytime. Day from now, couple days from now, doesn't matter to me. Hop in whenever you hop in. Let me know that you're here. Submit for free, and I'll boost you. I got you. All right, but let's keep it rolling. I just wanted to acknowledge the brightness there so you can kind of hear it. And you can hear on this vocal here, you can hear that brightness also being an amplifier of the self noise, right? So you're also getting this, very bright vocal, and it's also cranked a little bit more at the high end as well. So you're amplifying a little bit more of the mouth noises. You can hear the self noises, the self noise from the microphone in your preamp getting gated as well, right? So you're getting that right? You're getting that kind of gating and that noise that's kicking in with the vocal as well. Might have cranked the brights because my car radio sucks. Is that what you're mixing on based on the car radio? Yeah. I think you have an opportunity to create a really warm, easy song to listen to. Just think like Dijon, think McGee, think like a lot of that's not exactly what you're doing here, but think in that vein. Even some of the more acoustically driven Tame Impala stuff, where it's they're darker and moodier and mellow, but you're still hearing all of these. You still have the tight reverb. You still have the octave on the guitar. You still have all these other effects. You still have a saturated, format shifted vocal, so on and so on. But it keeps it a little bit clearer. Right. And so if everything's cranked, this vocal is pretty cranked, right? So it's not only bright, slightly harsh sometimes, but it's also going to increase the brightness of all the elements surrounding that vocal. So in this case, it's self noise, right? You have a really bright mix on that vocal, and it's bringing up the hiss from the microphone and the preamp. So then you're hearing the gating more dramatically. Soften that a whole bunch, and you're going to be in a much better place already. Just not cranking the high so much. Hey, thank you so much for tapping in. I appreciate you being here. But what you're doing in the song, I love. You know what I mean? I think that's always what it is with, I think, some of your records, where it's what you're actually producing, I love. You know what I mean? What you're actually doing in the song, the background vocals, the mood of the production. I like all of the things that are happening there. This has a lot to do with EQ, and then how you're processing and how much you're processing on individual elements. But what you're doing in the production, I think, is really cool. Yeah, link in my bio. Hear all that in the background. That's what I want to mitigate. Soften that with some of the brightness, or soften that with some of the high push that you have right there. Just if you're at 10K, 12K, and you're cranking it 7 dB to get a really bright vocal, drop that down to 2, 3, right? Again, you're not competing with much if you have a pretty saturated, warm production. Yeah. But you're going to hear it kind of flash in the background there intermittently as that vocal is gated and ungated. You can also use plugins. NS1 is great at that. As far as a cheap plugin, NS1 is great at doing noise reduction. It will target the profile of the noise and reduce it before gating as well. So that's what I have on my vocal. This room can be fairly noisy just because I have tube gear in here. I've got transformer gear in here. I've got a lot of electronics. I've got lights. I have an AC unit, so on the background. So and then this is running to a preamp that's got a decent amount of noise sometimes too. It can crank up in here a little bit. It's also hot in here, so you're gonna get a lot of noise sometimes if you're just running into gear, especially if you're using analog gear at all. You're gonna be dealing with some noise. Analog gear could also just be your interface and your microphone. They can just be noisy, right? So NS1 is great. NS1. It's a Waves plugin. I think if you buy it on its own, it's $30, something like that, 30 or $40. Let me see. Yeah, you hear all that? That's what I'm taking out of my vocal right there. That's a fair amount of noise. A fair amount of noise, right? And it's a tube microphone. It's going into a tube preamp right now. And some other stuff out here. So it's that noise. Exactly, right. So what you're hearing is you're not hearing the noise kick in and it's reducing it, and it's super transparent. Like I can, and no latency at all. So like I can track live with this on, and I'm hearing a bunch of noise from like the AC unit and the lights and all the other stuff in here. Like it makes it really transparent. So when I'm actually tracking stuff, it's like clear. It's crystal clear, and it doesn't sound all like, you know what I mean? It doesn't sound all gated like crazy. And this one's great. And this one is great. I also have, if I need to be more surgical, I have RX11, I have Clarity, I have some other things I can do to like really dive into exactly what frequency and what clicks and what noise and stuff like that. But when I'm just like, I need something quick that does the job, 30 to 40 bucks is pretty great for something. It's literally one knob. It's one fader it's one fader. It's about as easy to use as it gets. Also, if you have the Waves subscription, it just comes with it. So if you have like the $20 or $30 Wave subscription, then it literally just comes with it for free, or not for free, but it's in the subscription. But you don't even have to worry about it. Okay, let's push a little bit farther in here. But I think we've tackled most of the main things that I want you to address, right? That noise, the brightness of everything, and kind of pushing and pulling where you decide to place more or less reverb and effect and stuff like that. Hey, thank you for the heart me. I appreciate it. I swear everything is just, it is, and I hate it. That's literally why I have invested so much more like time and money and resource into like moving more analog, getting out of the box a little bit more, a hybrid mix setup and stuff like that, analog mastering, because I don't want to rely on it. You know, now analog stuff has its downfalls too. Like, I mean, like it can be noisy, it can be hot. They need repair. You know what I mean? Like you gotta replace tubes. You gotta replace a power supply on something that's old. Like, it can be, it can also be very frustrating. But for me, every day I'm dealing with some like stupid compatibility issue with some like iLok license or Waves or Antares or Universal Audio or Air or this over here. Like I hate technology. I'm just like forced to utilize it in a lot of senses. So I have been consciously moving more hybrid and more into an analog workflow, not because it like strictly sounds good or sounds better even though in a lot of senses it does, in a lot of cases it does, but it mainly for me for workflow, just like for workflow, for speed, for control, and it just, man, it's made a huge difference. Anyways, all right, let's go a little deeper. What's up, Vadis? Welcome in. Let me be honest with you, man. You can start pretty cheap. Don't think you need to go crazy. First, decide if you even like the workflow. Get some cheap DBX stuff. You know what I mean? Like get like a, what is it? The 1046 or the 166XLs or 166As. The DBX 166A is a dual channel compressor limiter from DBX. You can get those every day on like Marketplace for like 80 to $100. You know what I mean? Like those are cheap, and they do. But what it'll do is it'll allow you to be like, do I like using the knobs, or do I just want to pull up like Waves, compressors and stuff like that, right? Like get a Clark. I'm not saying all these sound amazing or are the best or won't have issues, but like get the KT76, right? The KT76 is an 1176 clone, one of the most popular, if not the most popular compressor in the world. It's an 1176 clone. They're $150 new. Like you can find them like open box for $150 all day, right? That's literally, I spend that on Universal Audio plugins every 4 months just with their stupid subscriptions, because I'm not going to pay $200 per plugin, right? Like plugins are expensive. I think for whatever reason, people think that like analog gear is crazy. I'm like, yeah, analog gear is crazy if you're buying expensive tube microphones and you're buying like original like Yuri 1176s for $20,000. Yeah. If you're getting CL1Bs and C800Gs and stuff like that, it's like, yeah, that's a $6,000, compressor, and that's whatever. And I have expensive stuff, but I also have cheap stuff. You know what I mean? Like I run a 1073, but I also have just like cheap, ART compressors and stuff like that. Like I think people think it's more expensive, and oftentimes even like the cheaper analog gear still sounds and is more functional than a lot of the plugins. Oftentimes you don't have to worry about like, oh, I updated my MacBook, and so now none of my Waves plugins are compatible because they haven't updated for the newest silicon. Like you don't have to worry about it. Just plug it in and it works. Again, there can be issues. You got to maintain them and stuff like that. And like, just don't be stupid with them. But I don't think it's as out of touch as a lot of people. I mean, especially with companies like ART, companies like Clark Technic, Behringer, even people love or hate it. But I've got, like I said, I've got expensive stuff, and I also have really cheap stuff, and I use all of that every day. Like this is a $3,700 microphone. I use this just as much as I use my 57, which is a $100 microphone, right? Like I have like super cheap effects that I use, like I have the 80s Proverb. It's like I got the thing for like $40 at like a resale shop. I use that thing thing almost just as much as I use like other like nicer units that I have. Like it just depends on like if you can utilize the tool. So anyways, I'm not saying you have to do this. If you're really reliant on the DAW, you're probably going to want to maintain some of that recall that you have. That's the most important part of utilizing a DAW and plugins and VSTs and stuff like that, is your ability to recall what you did and change it later, as opposed to, well, you got to print this now. You got to, whatever I put, like even if I'm tracking my vocal like right now into like the 1073 or even the what is it, the Vox thing that I have on the other side, when I run that into the DAW, it's printed. Once I've recorded, it's locked in and I can't change that. You know, some people love that. Some people hate it. I like it. I make better, more intentional decisions when I'm tracking in analog, just because what I put in there is going to be what comes out on the other side. So there's pros and cons. But anyways, don't feel like it's super, super out of reach. I spend more on plugins than I probably ever would have if I just got analog gear earlier on as well.
I lost you number when you left.
What's up, Crane? Welcome in. All right, let's go a little deeper into this.
I think I hear you in the thunder. I think I hear you call my name.
What's up, Chrissy? Welcome in. And then here, from a balancing standpoint, there's a small bias in this same Daily Bear. And again, like I'm hybrid, so I'm using both. Like I'm tracking in analog and then mixing, a lot of the mixing that I'm doing is in the box, and then sometimes I'll summon analog again. But that's just that everyone's got a different workflow, and there's people with Grammys that do it all, right? There's someone who has a Grammy out there that did everything completely in the box and they recorded on some random stuff. And then there's someone at the Grammy out there that spent $40,000 producing the record, so on and so on. You know what I mean? Like there's no right or wrong answer to it. It's just got to be your capacity. Like what makes you feel inspired, what makes you feel creative, and so on and so on, right? It's not about, is it expensive or not expensive, or is it what everyone else uses or not? Like I have stuff in here that literally like no one even cares about. Like no one uses. I just like it. This little thing, this little blue light in the back right here, that's like a vintage, like late 90s or like mid 90s, something like that. Old Radio Shack DJ mixer. But you know why I like it? Because it sounds like shit. Like it's the reason why like I have it is like it sounds terrible. And if you plug a guitar into that and turn the preamp all the way up and turn down the master and turn on this shitty delay that it has on there, it makes weird, nasty sounds that are perfect for random like effects in a song, right? So it's not just about things being like what everyone has or not, or being expensive or not expensive. It's just you being able to utilize the tool to get the idea that's in your mind out into the DAW. Okay, let's get a little deeper here, but really quick. Balance between snare. You have obviously your dark and distorted, or like oversaturated drums in the background, and then a really like bright, snappy, transient snare, a little bit higher at the top end right there. I would love to rebalance that a little bit, maybe shift more towards the saturated drums, get a little more like body and weight behind it, having the kind of at the top, that really kind of like hissy, really snappy snare at the top. To me, that balance between the two right there, that one sounds a little bit more abrasive and like thinner and brighter, and my ears prefer the weight. It prefers like the heaviness and the saturation between the two. So I think, of course I did, Rain. Of course I did. The balance between the two, I think you could maybe shift towards dark and moody, less bright and transparent and transient. I think if there's a little bit of a better balance between the two right there, I do think it'll just sound, a little bit easier to listen to. I like the tambourine though. So like right here with the da, 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 da. So we have like, a bunch of different vocal layers kind of all happening at the same time. The lead obviously has a ton of reverb on it, doubled and all of that stuff, but so do the backgrounds, and then so do everything else that we're hearing. So more than, again, because there's a lot disguised in the mix here, so I won't know exactly what you need to handle, but what I would just do on your own, and I think that one of the reasons where you're like, I'm not quite loving where things are happening, really dig into what is happening in this mix space-wise, right? As far as like reverb and delays and stuff goes, and decide where you want more. Decide like, okay, I want these drums to be like cleaner and punchier so we feel them, but I'm going to surround them with the drums that are super washed and reverb, so on and so on. Like I want all of this energy on the vocal side. I want these a little cleaner. I want these super reverberated, so on and so on. Like really decide when and where you're adding and taking away these different elements so that it feels like we have still some level of like clarity and separation here. It doesn't feel like everything is like disguised behind a wall of reverb, which is kind of how it feels now. Again, like what you're doing, but it definitely feels like we're 15 feet away from the mix, kind of, because everything has this big reverb on it. Yeah, exactly. So it's like right now, everything is kind of separate. And so if you can bring me a little bit closer, like maybe the kick and the snare are a little bit tighter, you know what I mean? Like, main kick and snare and the bass are a little bit more forward. They're a little bit more clarified, still saturated, still affected the way you want them to be, but maybe those are a little bit punchier. Maybe the vocals have a little bit better clarity to them. And you just really decide, do I want, less or more reverb on these different elements? Because if it's all behind that wall, I do think you're going to run into a situation where the mix feels busy and it feels noisy, even when what's there is like really cool stuff, right? Let me get into the outro here real quick. I like what you're doing though, man. I like what you're doing a lot. I mean, you always have, such a great structure to your music. So I'm not worried about you one bit. Oh, come on. Play the song. Play the song. Let me refresh. Here, right, this beautiful guitar in the background that you might want cleaner, actually, right? Maybe still some delays, but like less reverb, maybe push it forward a little bit in the mix, right? But I think here, again, so much energy that we're losing some of the cool things that are actually happening in the song, and I don't want to miss out. I like it though. It has this like even if it was a little bit slower, it's got a shoegazy kind of alternative feel that I think is really cool. Also, I think of the transition between the fake outro and the real one. Is that like right there? Like right in here, right? I don't mind that one bit as an idea. I like that. That's interesting. Especially if we can like balance those mids that are a little bit resonant right there. We can clarify some of the things that are happening. Yeah, I like it. And again, I'm a fan of just interesting decisions. I would rather you bias towards interesting creative decisions than like sterile pop productions. You know what I mean? Like, and again, there's a time and place for like synced sterile, pop productions. But like if the contrast or like the contradiction is going to be like, do I make this like cleaner and easier, or do we try to do something interesting? Try to do something interesting. Start there. Start with the interesting creative idea, and then from there you can always dial back into what's palatable, but start with interesting, right? I think a lot of people start with like the most like rigid, sterile, heard this a billion times before feel, and then from there, like, well, how can I make this more creative from here? It's like, just lean the other direction. Start by trying to be interesting and unique and creative and do something that feels like it's powerful in the song. And if it's too wild, you can always make it more palatable. You can always mix it in and connect it better and remix it and stuff like that, or change your sound design choices or whatever, retrack some things. But if you're starting with trying to come up with like the most palatable basic ideas, then you're already kind of at a deficit because you're just trying to create the most uninteresting thing possible. So to me, again, there's some things as far as, like we said, mix, bouncing of reverbs and delays and stuff like that, processing between different elements, whatever it may be. Some of that can be polished to make these more impactful when you do these transitions, so on and so on. But I like the idea. I think it's interesting. It's a nice little delayed hit right there. And the song is still not long. It's still under 3 minutes. Yeah, y'all show some love, man. Show some love. That's the family, man. Petrichor by Rain Felix. Rain, I like what you do. I like what you do. I think you're creative. You're a good writer. You understand structure in your music. You understand. Is playing the piano well key? What do you mean generic? Let me know. I want to make sure I understand what you're saying. But y'all, please show some love, man. Show some love. That's Rain Felix. Rain Felix is awesome. Has made some amazing music. Christopher, it's at the link in my bio if you would like to submit your music. But man, please show some love to Rain. Follow them. Be along for the ride. Along for the journey. Really well done, man. I'm excited for you, especially to polish up what we're doing here. Okay, sounds good. I didn't know what you were saying in the chat then, Christopher, if you already submitted. I didn't know. But we got Marion in the building. Marion Renta in the building. I'm excited to get into this. Let's dive in. Jemiah, welcome in. I appreciate you joining. Y'all keep tapping the screen. Share out the live with a few people. Don't forget to repost, send your heart me, stuff like that. It does really help out the live stream quite a bit. It has been a minute. I'm excited. I'm so excited to get into this. Let's dive in. We got Balloon. We got a back-to-back. So we got Balloon and we got Signs in the Sky. We got very sky-based themes here. But let's keep it rolling. Written, produced, mixed, mastered myself. Zero AI, all my vocals for my upcoming album, Let Him Hear, out September 11th. Never forget. Written, produced, mixed and mastered myself. Zero AI, Let Him Hear. Okay, same note. All right, let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. I know, a little bit about your music, but let the people know as well. Anything that you want the chat to know as far as supporting you, where they can find your music, stuff like that. What you're doing with these songs, so on and so on. But this is out in almost a month. So let me know if this is already in distribution. Kind of let me know where you're at with like completing with distribution. Are they still being remastered? Is there anything that you're wanting me to focus on specifically? You know the deal. Let me know. This is Balloon by Marion Renta right here in the chat. Show them some love. Okay, sounds good. Nice and early. You're on it. I'm never on it. You're on it. It's already beautiful. I like that. Serena, 100%.
Heavenly Father, Lord in heaven, thank you for your shade. Thank you for your sealing protection from the enemy and his
Yeah, no worries at all. It's all at the link in my bio.
Heavenly Father, God, I thank you for keeping me alive.
Remind me really quick what your mic is.
Thanks
What's up, Glenn? Welcome in.
for what you had to do to open my eyes. You gave me
Is this the intro?
direction. Your love through intervention. Took all the rain and gave
Thank you for the
me
follow.
direction. In Christ Jesus, I thank you. I'm so grateful you love me this way. You sent your only begotten Son to wash my sins away. In Christ Jesus, I thank you for your patience when I strayed. Even when it seemed no hope was lost, you never turned away.
Harmonies are awesome.
And my heart just fills up like a balloon, about to burst with gratitude. And I let it flow. I just let it flow.
Link in my bio if y'all want to submit.
Heavenly Father, Lord in heaven, thank you for the chance to fix things with my mom and papa and be a family at last. Heavenly Father, God, I thank you for setting me free from strange addictions and wicked fictions. 'Cause now I'm yours to lead. You gave me a reflection of the sin I gave affection. To hold down the reins Christ Jesus, I thank you.
Okay, whistle.
I'm so grateful you
Okay, whistle.
love me this way. You sent your only begotten Son to wash my sins away. In Christ Jesus, I thank you for your patience when I stray. Even when it seemed no hope was lost, you never turned away. You never, never, never. And my heart just
Yeah, it's at my
fills up
profile.
like
So if you go to my profile, you'll see a link tree there.
about to burst with gratitude, and I let it flow. I just let it flow. I said my heart just fills up like a balloon, about to burst with gratitude, and I let it flow. I just let it flow. I said I let it flow. I just let it flow.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right, let's dive in. Let's dive in. What skip brings to number one? Let's see. Right now, let me see. So I have a back-to-back from Marianne, so we're going to go through both of those right now. So both of those are going to be back-to-back. After that would be 40. 40 would be top currently speaking after that. Changes all the time. People are coming in, they're skipping, they're moving around. But that would be the next one after these two that we're going to do back to back. But y'all show some love to Marianne Renta right here in the chat. Just got to your submission though. I appreciate you. I appreciate it a lot. But let's get into it. Let's run this from the top, and then let's dive into a couple details here. But obviously, incredible vocal structure here. The harmonies, layers are absolutely beautiful. You're a very prolific vocalist. So I want to dive into a couple details here, just really briefly. But the flex of the vocals is never going to be in question. It's never going to be in question with Marianne. So let's dive into a couple details. But love what you do. Y'all show some love. They got some amazing music out, and a lot of amazing music coming very soon. The new album is going to come out, mid-September. So definitely be ready for that. I think EP or album, no, full album looks like. Do you know how many tracks are we working with here? Is it like a full LP? We got it all going on there. Let's run it from the top. This is Balloon by Marianne. 9 tracks. Okay, let's go. That's very palatable. That's a very, in the day of like, especially like a lot of modern artists being like, here's 24 new tracks, or here's 2 or 3 new albums to like buy out my label project or whatever like that. It's nice to have 9 songs. I respect it. I respect it. 9 intentional songs. That's palatable. Serena, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that a lot. But let's run it. Let's run it. Yeah, these harmonies, these main stacks underneath are beautifully done. I also love, Miss Stella, thank you for the follow as well. I also love the choice of moving to the major to me. Thank you for the roses. I appreciate that so much. The choice to me that is so, I'm not listening to Katy Perry. No, this is not for popular artists, much less Katy Perry. The thing that I love about this is the move to the major, right? Having these expanded, like D sharp here, F, expand. And again, all of this layered vocally. That to me is the part that's so fun, is that you're layering all of these like seconds and all of these expansions all vocally, and they're beautiful. They're so angelic, they're wide, they're reverberated, they're absolutely glorious. I love it. But you have this beautiful texture, and then moving to the major. Having the major, it gives it such like, it has this like dark, really like ethereal, like eerie feeling to it, which I love. I call this the ethereal progression. Yeah, I love it so much. Walking, it's like 4/5, but then it's 6 major instead of 6 minor. That balance right there, even just that small choice, it just adds so much tension to the song. And one of mine, not the one I submitted. Oh, nice. It's a great progression. I love it. Those little choices matter a lot. All this, beautiful. There's one thing I'm just, I think I asked her earlier about if you can remind me really quick, the mic that you were using or what your setup is for recording your vocals. there's still something I'm hearing. There's still something. Anchovy, don't spam the chat. Just if you want to submit, it's at the link in my bio. There's something I'm still hearing in the vocal. This artifact. This like reduction that's happening, or it almost sounds like damage to the diaphragm or something. There's some like warbling that's happening. 103, 103, 103, which is typically super, super bright. Yeah. I like it too, Serena. It's really, really cool. I can't remember if there was something that was happening there that was something that we already talked about, but the voice itself is really awesome, but there's a texture to it. There's a texture to it, some artifact that's happening because of a plugin in the chain, or maybe some issue with the microphone or something in the chain that's creating this artifact, this like metallic movement. It could also be, I'll toss this out there too. I think maybe we talked about this last time. It could also be movements and melodyne. It could also be like small stretches and consolidations in melodyne that are creating that kind of metallic stretching between a couple different notes, or small formant shifts with like manual placement in melodyne. I don't know. It's something in there, but I'm still getting some of that texture in the vocal. If there's a way for you to mitigate that in the future, I would love to, because you obviously have the potential to have like a really like clear, clean, transparent powerhouse structure here. And I would love to hear more of that out of your vocal, because the voice is so good. Obviously your vocal ability, the gymnastics that you're doing vocally are so powerful, and you're pretty tasteful with the way that you introduce those as well. So man, I would love to get some clarity out of that. It's much easier on the backgrounds because they're disguised by so much more, right? Obviously, there's a lot of like reverb and stuff like that in the backgrounds as well. So that helps, disguise some of that. Beautiful, 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 beautiful.
Heavenly Father, Lord in heaven, thank you for your strength.
Sarah, I got you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your stealing protection from the enemy and his friends. Heavenly Father, God, I thank you for...
You hear a little bit, and again, it's subtle and it doesn't happen all the time. Heavenly Father, there's like a little texture in the background. It's that little stretching. It's that little metallic stretching that's happening in the background. So I think you said you're mixing everything yourself. You're, doing everything on your own. If you're doing any like stretching on Melodyne to like refit some vocal phrasing or anything like that, just be super, super tasteful with it and really, really subtle with it. Because to me, it is a small, it's so subtle, but it's a small distraction in quality that I think would be fairly easy for you to make a little bit more transparent. It's so subtle. And I'm being ultra picky because you're really good, right? I'm being very, very, very picky. Most other people will be, oh, this sounds pretty good. But I know your potential and I know what you're working with skill wise. And that's where I'm like, I see what you can do. I see what you can do. I hear the potential of your vocal. And I don't want like anything to be like, this is so good, but feels low fidelity in some senses outside of production and outside of these layers. It's all right there. It's all right there.
Keeping me alive. Love through intervention.
Love the chorusing in the background too.
Gave me direction. Christ Jesus, I thank you. I'm so grateful you love me this way. You sent your only begotten Son to wash my sins away. In Christ Jesus, I thank you for your patience when I strayed, even when it seemed no hope was lost.
Yeah, layer structure is fantastic. That's what I'm saying. Is like so much of this is like so clean and so well structured and so well positioned, so on and so on. I selfishly want like zero things to stand in your way, like zero things at all for people to be like, what's that sound or anything like that. You're absolutely crushing it, and so that's why I'm being kind of ultra picky. I'm like, ooh, here's some little technical things, just because I think you've got such incredible potential with your vocal. Obviously, you've got the ability to do largely anything that you want to do with it. So I'm I'm thrilled with what you're doing quality wise, especially within the rest of your production and obviously within your layering and stuff here. Let's push a little bit forward in this one. I do really want to get into Signs in the Sky as well. So I want to dive into some of the details, especially if there is a little bit more production structure in that one as well.
Papa, be a family unless Heavenly Father, gotta thank you for setting me free from strange addictions and wicked fictions, 'cause now I'm used to
Those backgrounds are crazy.
To me, you gave me a reflection of the sin I gave affection, to hold down the reins and gave me direction.
What's up, Sundry? Welcome in.
Jesus, I thank you.
Yeah, and just randomly dropping a whistle tone in there is great. It's just like
And gave me direction. Jesus, I thank you.
just subtly, just randomly subtly at 3 minutes into a 4.5 minute song, just dropping a whistle note in there, just to let the people know what they're in for. Let the people know what's going on here. It's crazy.
To wash my sins away. In Christ Jesus, I thank you.
Sprinkle that in there. Sprinkle that in there.
there.
Just it's a great production, cool acapella with a sprinkle of a 5-octave range. Just sprinkle that in there really quick.
Even when it seemed no hope was lost, you never turned away. You never. And my heart just fills up like a balloon.
Thank you for the follow, Anchovy. Appreciate it.
Burst with gratitude, and I let it flow. I just let it flow. I said my heart just fills up like a balloon, about to burst.
That the major push. The major push is everything. Obviously, for the vast majority of this particular song, obviously, this is a very unique song structure. It's feels more free flowing. It's very ad lib heavy. It's more of a freestyle feel, right? Where there is a hook structure in there, but most of what you're doing is very free. It's very floaty. There's a lot of different melodies and stuff like that. This is not a polished pop record, right? This is very much so to live in its own space. Most of the production, and by production I mean all of your low layers that are carrying your chords, right? That's the the D sharp major, F sharp. I'm sorry, D sharp major, F major, and the G major shift right there. Most of that is what's carrying your progression, but we don't really hear a lot of the major push from more of the lead vocals and higher layers until this moment in the song, where you really get this climactic ending to the song, where you finally follow that melody with your more prominent vocal stacks, not just the oohs and ahs underneath, but the stack of vocal that follows the lead melody. Shifting into the major there is such a great stylistic decision to really push the song kind of over the edge on the outro right here. It's so good.
I said my heart just fills up like a balloon.
That's it right there. I love it. That's just the final nail right there. You know what I mean? Of following that melody with those stacks, because it's really one of the only times that happens with the majority of the vocal layers, not just kind of the underline right there. That's awesome. I love it.
I just let it flow. I said I let it flow.
Get you a good tube, Mike. You've got a really punchy voice. I mean, it's very resonant. You project amazing. It's very resonant. It's very clean and clear. I'm not here to tell people to spend money, but get you a good tube microphone. I know the kind of stuff you're working with. I know some of the other gear and stuff that you have. And some of the stuff that you have in your studio and stuff. Get you a good tube microphone. If you can get something that's going to offer the clarity that you need, the brightness that you need, but also soften some of that resonance, and take all of the energy that you're putting into it and calm it a little bit, and restrain it in a very musical way. Tube, I'm scared of tube. Don't be. Get you, depending on your budget, obviously. If you don't want to go 10 grand, if you don't want to go even $3 or $4 grand or something like that, Get you like a used for the price you spend on the TLM 103, which is an incredibly bright microphone, which I think you're just also then having to do some post-processing to like subdue it, right? Because like right now it's really, like I said, there's some artifact in from having to restrain it just a little bit as well. Get you like a TF51 from Telefunken. Get you a TF51 or a TF47. I think a 51 would suit your vocal better because you have a bright, punchy, projected, resonant vocal, and that just handles stuff like that beautifully. A TF51 you can find used for like $1,600-$1,700. Nothing great as far as tube microphones go. That's not that crazy. Don't be scared of the tube. Don't be scared of the tube. The tube is once you do that, there's no going back. There's no going back. You could do, you know, there's a lot of other mics that you could do with, right? So much of like vocally, and again, you're a very impressive vocalist. So much of what you're doing is just finding like what complements your vocals, right? Because like I have a TLM 102. I've had the TLM 102 for years and years and years and years. I don't know, 7 or 8 years or something like that I've had it. Maybe even, honestly, maybe even longer than that I've had it. And I have used and worked with artists that have the 103 many different times. So many different times. So many people have the 103 and have the 102. The 103 is a very specific machine. You either love it, and it works really, really well for you, and it just is exactly what works well for your vocal structure. What's up, Boaz? Welcome in. I appreciate you being here. It works really, really well for what you're doing, or it is the worst thing that could happen, and it is like overly resonant. It's too bright. It's too brittle. It's too harsh. And on the other side, I think some of it is just going to come down to like what works well for your vocal, right? So sometimes it works beautifully and sometimes it's just not the right answer. I think a lot of times it's not the right answer. When the 103s and the 102s work really well, I think is when you are trying to bring out more like air and brightness and bring out a little bit more support, especially at the top. When you're not getting it, right? So what I use the 102 for, if I'm in the studio, like what I'm using the 102 for or 103 for is for when something is like really mellow, and it needs to be opened up a little bit more at the top end, right? Like, so I have like a parlor acoustic guitar from Gretsch, like that Gretsch, I'll use that on that. If I'm miking the room on the drums and I just need to open up something on the room on the drums, then maybe I'll use a 102 for something similar to that. Or if I have like a really mellow vocal and it's like a really kind of like dark, mellow, airy vocal and I need to open it up a little bit, the 102 can be good for that. But for the vast majority of situations where you are dealing with like a really like solid, resonant, powerful vocal, I think it just ends up kind of amplifying, resonances that just don't feel very flattering to a lot of vocals. So anyways, that's why I'm mentioning randomly over here about, getting a tube microphone or getting something that is going to be more complementary to your vocal. Again, I'm not here to tell people to spend money on use the 103 until it dies. Like I used the 102 for years and years and years before I ever got a different microphone, and just made it work and tried to process it as well as I could. But since I am hearing some artifact from your forced necessity to process some things out of that microphone to make it work with your vocal, if you have an opportunity in the near future to get you a decent quality tube microphone, I would highly recommend it. It'll be bright, it'll be airy, it'll give you all that you want, but it'll also create these beautiful harmonics in your vocal that I think are just going to allow it to shine. You have an amazing, amazing voice, and I want to make sure that you're getting everything out of it as possible. Y'all show some love. We got another song here in a second. Boaz, I'm new to your channel. I saw a music logo next to your profile. Do you make music? I do, Boaz, and I know we're chilling over on YouTube and Twitch right now. Most everyone else is over on TikTok currently speaking, but so I'm sorry if it's very quiet for you over on YouTube right now. You never know with YouTube. Sometimes with YouTube, it's like there's like one person or randomly the algorithm like picks it up, and there's like 20 people on YouTube. You just like quite literally. Same with Twitch is the same way where like most of the time there'll be like a few people over there, and then randomly I got placed on like the main page on Twitch, and there was like 500 people in there. I was like, what the hell's going on? So Twitch and YouTube are always weird with that. Most of the people are hanging out on TikTok right now. But yeah, I make music. So full time I work full time as a audio engineer, producer, and session musician. That's what I do for a living. Done that for like 14 plus years. And I'm also a classically trained pianist. So over on TikTok, Twitch, Twitch and YouTube right now. We're doing consultations for producers and artists and musicians and engineers and people that are trying to get into music and improve on what they're doing, and just offering some tools and actionable feedback on what they're doing, just from my personal, professional experience. But yeah, that's what the channel is. Thank you so much for tapping in on YouTube. Thanks for holding down the fort over there on YouTube. I appreciate it a lot. All right, let's get into the second track here by Marianne right here. Let's get into it. Positive, but also practical feedback. Thank you, Fuego. I appreciate you a lot. It's always going to be my goal to be obviously informative, to be as valuable as I can, but also, obviously, I feel like I'm a kind person. I do my best. If we submit a song but aren't able to skip the line, what is the potential of it being played? Sorry, just curious. Yeah, if you're in the free line, I will try to do a couple free submissions intermittently. It's hard sometimes when I get like a bunch that are really, really high, or a bunch of people that skip forward really, really fast, and so they're doing that because they have to go very quickly. And so I try to do those a few more of those in a row. But what I'll probably do is after the next couple, we got Demore in the building. After the next couple tracks, I'll dip into the free line for a second, and then we'll kind of go back and forth every couple tracks or something like that. Yeah, it gets crazy. And honestly, today is like 20 less than yesterday. Yesterday, there was like 60 something submissions. It gets kind of nuts sometimes. But also keep in mind, Serena and other people here in the chat, a lot of people dip, right? So there will be a ton of people that just send their music to the free line and then they jet, right? They send it in, and that they're just hoping that at some point, even if they're not here, they will get, if they're not here, that they'll get played, and they just blast it to like 50 different people out there, just hoping that someone will probably play it. So a lot of these people, I will not play it if you're not here. So if there's a bunch more people, that if I go to the free line and I list the next couple people and they're not here, I just move on. I'm not going to listen to you if you're not here. If you're not even here for your breakdown, you're not even here for the quick note in the free line, because again, free line is a 2-minute listen, and then on a free line it's a 2-minute listen and then a quick note. So if you're not even here for that, then I'm not going to waste my time or anyone else's time listening to a song. We're not even going to listen to the whole thing, and then we don't even get into it. So on the consultation side, those are 20, like we're doing now, obviously, where we're taking forever. Those are 20 to 30 minutes per song. Those are deep dives, and so those people, I'm always going to make sure that we really get into it and we really dive into the details. But anyways, which makes it more valuable. 100%. Okay, let's get into the second song from Marianne really quick. We got a lot more music to get to it. I'm going to try to be more concise, but I also, we're going to take a long time. Y'all can see how hot it is in here, man. I have the AC on. I've got the fans blasting. This gear is no joke. So if you run hot, don't get gear. We were talking about analog gear earlier versus like using VSTs. If you run hot, VSTs all the way. I'm sweating in here. This is crazy. I don't even know. Do I need to turn on the fan higher? I don't want a bunch of noise in here too, but my goodness gracious, it is freaking hot in here. We got another one from Marianne. Let's get it. This is Signs in the Sky by Marianne Renta, same artist that we just heard, same thing. It's going to be on the album in the next couple weeks. In the next like 3 or 4 weeks, this album will be out on all platforms. So definitely show it some love and support. As I've heard of it, it's also rare to get opinions without paying hundreds of dollars. So I appreciate the work. Thank you, Serena. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you so much for your patience as well. I know a lot of people, we sit around, we're waiting a long time. I take a long time per song, which is, that's the whole format of it. So I'm not going to change that necessarily, but I do understand that it takes a while. So what I encourage some people to do sometimes is, of course, if you are like, oh man, I'm a bit far on the list, you might want to, relax for a little bit, come back a little bit later, or just like keep it on in the background, keep it up on YouTube or Twitch or something like that in the background, and then you can always come back in to double check or move around, whatever it may be. Sky, thanks for the follow, but let's get it. Signs in the Sky. Let's see if this one has oh yeah, we got production on this one. Let's go. And keep in mind, y'all, Marianne produces all of this. She is producing, writing, performing, and mixing absolutely everything. If I paid for a tier 4 skip, but was in 6th place, if I got my skip, do I pay for both? Wait, hold on. Let me see. If I paid for a tier 4 skip, but was in 6th place, do I pay for both? So the tier is just the level of what you're paying for, right? The order is always going to be top to bottom. So some people are like adding 2 or 3 tier 1s or tier 2s to like skip to the top and pass everyone up and stuff like that. But the tier doesn't have to do necessarily with your placement in line. Just as an example, there's like 6 people that did tier 4s and just sent high and went straight in, right? And so it's only determined by where you're at in the list. So some people add to theirs over time in order to go faster, which is what's happened with all the artists that we're hearing right now. So if you add tiers and you go faster, it will move you up the line depending on how that compares to other people's submissions. Never in the background, appreciate hearing everyone's critique. Always listen. 100% Serena. And that's also one thing I've always tried to do here is make sure that when we're talking about, production details, mixing and stuff like that, that there is hopefully things that are valuable for everybody to hear that can be helpful. I already skipped. If I upgrade to jump to number 1, do I pay full price for both? What do you mean for both? Do you have 2 songs? Let me see. Just I want to make sure I'm clear, so I don't want to give you the wrong information accidentally. Do you have 2 songs in there? No, you're good. No, don't even worry about it. Please ask questions. You're good. I don't want to. I just want to make sure I give you the right info. That's the only thing. No, don't even worry about it. Do I pay full price for both? Okay, so just as an example. Okay, so you sent tier. So you're in the 20. I got you. Yeah. So you sent in the 20, right? So you're tier 4 and you're in the 20 right now, but there's a bunch of people that sent more, right? So there's a bunch of people that moved past you. And so that's why you're 6th in the line currently speaking. Yeah, I got you. So the tier is just the dollar amount. I'm forced to put a label on it. So don't worry about tier 1, 2, 3. Don't worry about that. All it is the dollar amount. So as an example, if you sent to tier 4, if you add a tier 1 to it, you're just adding $10 to it. And then you push to 30, you push to 40, whatever, so on and so on. So the tier 1, 2, 3, 4 is literally just a title I have to put on there. You just have to name it something. Yeah, it's kind of like a bid. So when I open up my side on the host side, I just go top of the list down, and whoever, y'all can move around if you want to, or wait for a while if you want to, so on and so on. But that is just where I just go top to bottom. But it's completely up to y'all, like how fast you go. I'm not worried about it. So if you want to go, so you're at 20 right now. I have Sarah currently, and again, here's the other thing I want you to keep in mind is sometimes when you're totally good. This happens, it's fine. The other thing to keep in mind is sometimes you'll skip and you're like, okay, I skipped to number 1, but then someone else sees that and they want to skip to number 1. This is what happened with Marion. Marion said no, and so he just dumped 2 at the very, very top. And so what might happen is you might skip to the top right now, which I think is 55. So it'd be like I think you're in 20, so it'd be another 20 and a 15 or something like that, which, a tier 2 and a tier 3 or something like that. And that would put you over, but then maybe Sarah's like, no, I'm going right now, and they send more. So just keep that in mind that sometimes people bid, sometimes people, put a little bit more to go faster. But currently speaking, you have 20. The next highest after, Demore, see, yeah, exactly. Because Demore was like, no, I'm going now. Demore just skipped. So currently speaking, it would be 60 is at the top. You have 20, so you can kind of choose whatever tier. But that, again, it's moving around all the time, especially as we're talking about it. So, all right, let's get into Marion's song here. But that's currently where it's at. No, you're totally good. You're totally good. Just keep in mind that I know people get frustrated. It's up to y'all to go faster or go slower. I never want to pressure y'all to do that at all. Some people just want to. They just want to go faster, or they just value it. They want to send in more, which is awesome. I appreciate it a lot, but it moves around a lot. So just don't get frustrated if you skip and then someone else skips, because that's kind of what happens, especially when people are trying to go for that top spot. All right, let's get it. Let's go, Marion. In fact, y'all, I'm probably going to I'm going to close the line to new submissions right now. Really quick. I'm going to close the line to new submissions right now so that what we have in the line is a little bit more stable and it's not getting too crazy. You can still skip, you can still move, but I'll close it to new people.
Jesus really was the key. Y'all hear me? We hear ya. Y'all hear me? We hear ya. Through the ages, many hated his name. As they embraced false prophets and put righteousness to shame. And it should leave you shook, that is predicted in the book. Y'all feel me? We feel ya. Y'all feel me? We feel ya. Chaos today is just jumping out the pages.
That's a B3 in the background, right? I think you said you had one in the studio.
Soon there'll be signs in the sky.
Bass is nasty.
But pray that you'll be gone where the Lord has made a home. We live in
Love that bass.
times. So put your trust in Christ and start believing. The prophets and you made some wild predictions. The temple's demolition.
Rose 2.
after Christ's
Is that a stage 73?
70th week. is just sitting at our feet. Just see it. We got to see it. Light of all those martyrs sings the highest. They refuse to deny Jesus while being thrown to the lions. 'Cause they would rather die than deny you risen Christ. Do y'all feel that? Do you feel this? Chaos today is just jumping out the pages. What more proof do you need? Soon there'll be signs in the sky. But pray that you'll be
Like the claps.
gone where the Lord has made our home. We live in prophesied time.
We just closed it. Let me open up
Trust
here.
in Christ and start believing. Waiting on that rapture.
we go. Just close the line.
See you there. Closing out this chapter. The King is almost here.
Thank you for the phone,
Waiting on that
Tim.
rapture. I pray I see you there. Closing out this chapter. The King is almost here. Soon there'll be signs in the skies.
Yeah, I'll be live tomorrow. It'll be later again. It'll be later again.
We live in prophesied
Yep.
times. So put your trust in
It worked. I got
Christ
you.
and start believing.
You jumped a whole bunch of people.
Waiting on that rapture. I pray I see you there. We're closing out this chapter.
Yeah,
The
you bumped
King
up a
is
bunch of people.
almost here.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Y'all show some love. Show some love. Show some love. That is another track from Marion Renta, Signs in the Sky. Let's dive into it. We'll go a little bit faster. I think we addressed most of the vocal artifact, early processing, stuff like that on that record. And of course, all these songs are coming out. So y'all please show some love to Marion. Obviously, incredibly talented. I'm so jealous. I'm openly jealous about the stuff that you get to use as well. The Rhodes, the B3 in the background. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. I love it. I want to talk about it just really, really briefly. Yeah, your vocals are crazy. Again, as far as vocal skills go, I'll say this. Every once in a while, I would love a hair more restraint to leave a little bit more to be desired as far as dynamics goes. That I think that's something that I would love to hear a little. Maybe there's other songs that have maybe some more of that. These are obviously big flexes. They're really, really, really impressive. Every once in a while, I wish that I got more of like what the melody is and like what the structure of the song is. So it's easier for like me and the listener to latch onto it, right? To learn it, to like, lean into it and engage with it. Sometimes it's so impressive that it's like, as a listener, as a consumer of the music, it's harder to engage with. But so every once in a while, I'm like, I wish there was, especially on the verses, like a little bit more restraint. And that way, when you do the crazy runs, you open things up like, and just fully flex the vocal and all that it can do. It like matters more in the song structure. Because obviously, so incredibly talented. You have a great voice and great vocal ability to do all those things. So the restraint sometimes can make it more impactful when those things are happening. Yeah, we'll be live tomorrow. It'll be late again. So tomorrow, late afternoon, early evening Central Time. So if you're left on the list or you had to leave for any reason, we saved your song or anything like that, tap in tomorrow. I'll boost you even farther than you were today. So if you sent in 20 today, you didn't get heard, you'll be 25 tomorrow, 30 tomorrow, something like that. I'll always make sure that I boost you and add more to what you have. That way y'all get a little bit of a leg up the next time, just in case it's taking a little bit longer for you to get your music heard. So that, I think that would be fun too. The only other thing, and then we're going to dive into a couple parts of the song really quickly and then move on so I can go a little faster through some of the next ones here. But one of the only other things is a little bit of ringing, just a hair of kind of unbeneficial resonance in the mids of the vocal, higher mids of the vocal, a little bit of ringing there. When you really project and you hit that like very comfortable mid range of your vocal, obviously your vocal slices through, it cuts through. You're using a very bright microphone. We already addressed that. Because you're using a very bright microphone and your vocal does project really, really, really well, it's resonating a lot. And then you're getting some ringing in those mids. So right around like 2,000 hertz-ish, there's a little bit of harshness in the vocal right there. Again, partially because the vocal is, or the microphone itself is giving you a bit more of that. But you can mitigate that lightly with some like dynamic EQ and just some really, really subtle EQ curves right there to help, when you push into that range, it's not resonating so much. It's not slicing through so much. But man, as far as like vocal ability goes, production goes, introducing the soloing on the Rhodes, and the organ and stuff in the background, the Hammond B3, beautifully, beautifully done. Let's get into it. We'll chop through just a couple things really briefly. Most of this sounds fantastic. I mean, production's awesome. It's got this like really like mid 90s R&B pop feel. It's great.
Now's the time to know it's true and faithful. 'Cause there's about to be a major revelation, and all the world will see Jesus really was.
Is that you? Da, 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 da. So even like when we're hitting that higher range right there, you can start to get a little bit of that piercing, right? And it's just going to limit how much you can turn up the song. It's going to limit how much you can turn up the song just because it's so resonant, right? And there's so much projection there. So a little bit of softness right there, maybe a hair of saturation, or a little bit of a small curve right there on the EQ to just help suppress it slightly.
The key, you hear me? We hear ya. You hear me? We hear ya. Through the ages, baby hated his day after day. It's just jumping out the pages. What more proof do you need? Soon there'll be signs in the sky.
Bass is great. Like I said the first time, I love the way the bass comes in here. It's mixed beautifully, by the way, too. Like when that bass comes in, it actually comes in with like a lot of weight, no mud, super clean and clear. Great low end support without being boomy at all. Sounds awesome.
But pray that you'll be gone where the Lord has made a home. We live in prophesied times. So put your trust in Christ and start believing. The prophets in your
All right, let's get into the main section of this one. Y'all show some love to Marianne.
and
Show
start
some love.
believing. Waiting on that rapture. Pray I see you there. Close
I also wouldn't mind if that Rhodes, I mean, maybe I'm a little, selfishly, I wouldn't mind if that Rhodes pushed forward. It's sitting there in the background right now, and it's adding so much like texture in the background. Dun, 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 right? It's adding these nice little flares in the background. I wouldn't mind in a different world if that was like 2 or 3 dB louder as well. Again, you're getting a lot of energy out of the vocal structure, percussion, and bass. Wouldn't mind if that Rhodes pushed a little bit more in the middle there too. You could probably trade off some of the energy of like kind of the slice of the vocal versus the warmth that the Rhodes introduces into the mix. If you're able to rebalance that lightly, come on, so good.
out this chapter.
On like a future, obviously I know this is already in distribution. You're already launching.
The king is almost here.
Killer.
Waiting on that rapture. I pray I see you there. Closing out this chapter. The king is almost here. Soon there'll be signs in the skies. I pray that you'll be gone where the Lord has made a home. We live in prophesied times. So put your trust in Christ. and
Tambourine is
start
crazy.
believing. I pray I see you there.
Killer. So good.
Closing out this chapter, the king is almost here.
Let's go, man. Y'all show some love. Show some love, show some love. That is Marianne Renta right here in the chat. Obviously incredibly talented. And once again, y'all, doing all of it. That's not an easy thing to do, especially doing it at a high level in any sense at all. Doing all of the writing, all of the performing, all of the tracking, all of the production, all of the mixing and mastering and handling distribution like that. That is not an easy thing to do. So please show some love, some well-deserved love and support to Marianne Renta right here in the chat. Absolutely love what you do. Incredibly talented. Let's keep the music going, y'all. Let's keep the music. Just a quick reminder that we are closed for new submissions right now. We're closed for new submissions right now. Plenty of 2 hours sleep time. No, that's facts. 100%. That's like the only way, like, especially for me right now, it's like the only way to get anything done is to do extra stuff. So it's like I'm working all day. And then after I'm done with my work for the day, I'm like done with productions, mixing sessions, whatever. I'm done with everything. Then I get on live for a while. And then after I'm live for a while, if I ever want to work on anything that's my own or like work on a sync project or work on something for a library or whatever it may be, like all of that is extra. All of that's like extra stuff. It's brutal. It's brutal. It's crazy. So props to you. You deserve all the flowers. You deserve all the flowers. We got Demore in the building. We got Sorry Sarah in here. And is it Ferdo? Ferdo, I got you as well. We got DTSK, we got Passenger, Tep. I know some of y'all aren't here. Benny the Bean, I see you. All right, let's keep it rolling, y'all. I'm gonna try to get to as many of these as we possibly can. I know some of them are not here. I'm gonna try to make this happen, y'all. So let's keep rolling. If you're here in the chat, especially if you're in the consultation line, I'm gonna do my best to get through these. So we got Demore in the building. Demore, I see Demore right there. Let's go. I submitted the song before. I followed your advice with the vocal and added more from a production standpoint. Let me know what you think. Demore, let's get into it. Tidify, I'm not familiar. Not super familiar. All right, this is a song Kissed by Demore. I have heard this song before. We're gonna get an update on it, but let's run it. Oh yeah, I remember this. Remind me where the vocals are from again. Okay. Oh yeah, I remember this. Yeah. I mean, this is like a sing song. This is like Sprites. I mean this in a good way. I mean this in a way that you should get paid a lot of money for it. This is like Sprite has a new flavor commercial vibe. Know what I'm saying? It's a $20,000 sync check kind of vibe. It's got to polish some things. But yeah, I like the feel of this a lot. I think a lot of this is just going to come down to balancing. Because what you have here, I like a lot. It's very, very palatable, very commercial. Yeah, I remember this. Yeah, I mean, 100% facts. 100%. Booking.com. Booking.yeah. Whatever. It's like, that's what, I mean that in the best way possible. I mean, you should get paid, man. You should get paid. It's great. It's vacation music, man. Love the piano riff at the top. So catchy. So catchy. Yeah, Serena. This is like a song I feel like you could like sell to Charlie Puth or something. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, it's very like tightly produced, clean melodies, clean bass line. I love it. The bass sounds awesome. What are you using for the bass? Is that Amplitude? Is it Amplitude? Is that the plugin I'm thinking of? Man, y'all show some love. Show some love. That is producer Demore right here in the chat, man. Let's dive into it. It's something in contact. Okay. Do you like country music? Yeah, 100%. Any style, any genre. I listen to and work around a lot of different music. So no, there's no bias within the structure of this live as far as the style of music. We talk about the details. We talk about the nuances of it. We are closed for today, but we're going to be live again tomorrow evening. So tomorrow, after probably 6 or 7 p.m. or so, we'll be on for probably shorter live tomorrow. Slightly shorter live tomorrow, but we will be live tomorrow for sure. But man, let's get into it. This is Sun Kiss by Demore. I've heard it before. Let's talk about a little bit of vocal timing and balancing. I think that, to me, I like everything in the production. I think it all sounds good. The Rhodes sounds fantastic. The bass is killer. Bass I'm obsessed with. Drums are clean and they're snappy and they're punchy. Rickenbacker. Oh yeah, Rickenbacker. Yeah. Close enough. Close enough. I know it's a crazy name. But yeah, the Rickenbackers are awesome. I got to play a real one. It was an electric Rickenbacker. One of the old like white and black ones with the old big ones. It's a wild instrument. It's a wild old instrument. They sound great. They sound great. But anyways, production now I feel like is largely in place. From what I'm hearing, I like all of the things that I'm hearing. It's really clean. It's well structured. So I really want to focus on vocal balancing, vocal positioning of layers. I think there's some timing differences and distinctions between the BGVs and the lead. I want to line those up and get those really clean and really sharp so that they feel all on the same page doing the same thing. And then I want to, talk about balancing just a little bit, but I'm loving what you're doing, man. It's really, really sounding good. It's really sounding polished. Just gotta balance and kind of fine tune those vocals on the other side as well. Okay. And then Casey, thanks for tapping in. We are closed. We're closed, but we're going to be live again tomorrow. So just make sure y'all are following and we'll open up the line to brand new submissions tomorrow. We'll start from scratch. All right, let's keep it going. This is Songkiz by Demorne. Let's run it, man. Great early introduction as well. Great early reduction. Just boom. Vocals hit right off the bat. Great for retention. Great for replay value. Great for placement and stuff like that. Just getting it locked in right there. Perfect. Great for the threshold for streaming. What's up, D Busy? Remind me really quick. I'm trying to think because I remember the song. I don't remember everything that we talked about last time, so I don't want to hammer home the same points. Were there any issues last time that we broke this down of vocal quality from the vocal from Sound Better? Was that an issue at all? Because I'm hearing some similar to what we we're talking about with one of the last artists of like metallics in the vocal, right? And this kind of like stretching that's like happened to kind of make it fit. That I'm kind of curious about, and then some like artifact in the vocal. That was one of the issues. I was like, I can't remember. It's better. If I'm remembering correctly, I do feel like it's better. It's closer matched to the secondary vocal because there is a second vocal, obviously, that comes in on the feature. It is better matched. Tried my best to fix it. Yeah, I think if I'm remembering correctly, it's just one of those like kind of annoying things where you don't really have a ton of control over. Tried to make it less bright, 100%. Because there's still like this, and again, if there's nothing you can do to change it, there's nothing you can do to change it. That's fine. But there is still this kind of artifact and this stretching, this like metallic, edge in the vocal that is reducing a little bit of its like natural transparency that I would love to hear. But if that's just where the vocal is, unfortunately, then is what it is. We can try to mitigate it a little bit. I'm curious what some like warm saturation could do, but you don't want it to sound too fuzzy and stuff like that. So anyways, let's dig into it a little bit more. But yeah, I think I remember that being an issue the first time. We're hearing that vocal comes in. Okay, so on your backgrounds, the vocals on the background layers actually sound really good. I'm a big fan of the background vocals. They come in a hair early. I think all of the song. The background vocals are just a hair in front. I'm going to listen for a couple other parts of the song, but in my opinion, you should probably just select all backgrounds and shift them like 10 milliseconds north in the pocket so that they settle back into the production. I start hearing like the delays and I start hearing the effects of the background a couple milliseconds before the lead vocal even kicks in. So there's a little bit of a delay right there. If you can realign those so that they feel really, really lined up, really concise, really cohesive, that would be awesome. So that they really feel like they're supporting the lead vocal. Right now, my attention kind of goes immediately to the backgrounds because they come in early. So it's the first thing my brain picks up on. So I'm like kind of listening over here for the vocal versus like feeling that lead vocal in the middle of the mix. Tiny detail, select all backgrounds, shift them over, you'll be fine. That's easy, easy. Same thing. I think it's all of them. That does seem a lot cleaner. Yeah, because I think even here on the hook, I think your lead vocal is right where it needs to be. If I'm like hearing it correctly in the context of the mix now, I think the lead vocal is where it needs to be. And then I'm hearing the background in front of it, and it's making the vocals feel rushed, even though I don't think they're all rushed. I think just the background vocals are in front of it, and it's making all of your vocal structure feel like it's in front of the production. And so you're losing some of the swing and some of the vibe and like the natural movement of it just because it's a couple milliseconds in front of the lead vocal and you're hearing that texture first. So I think literally select all, take all of your background vocals, shift it 10, 20 milliseconds in front, bring it back under control with the rest of your production, and then everything will line up. It'll feel smoother. It'll feel way easier. Danielle, thank you so much for the heart me. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing amazing. I hope you're doing fantastic. Thanks for joining for a little bit. Shout out to Daniel. Shout out to Daniel. The GOAT. This is so vibey. This is so chill. It's a great vocal too. It really is. I know you've ran into some like quality issues and stuff like that, but especially with getting this vocal in there and trying to like remix it and stuff like that. But honestly, especially once you kind of over process a little bit going into the hook and kind of tighten everything up, it sounds good. It's working. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It works well, I think, especially as like with the doubler and with the doubles that you have on the outside of the mix. It works really well. So much. Once you realign timing, that's going to settle so much more on this hook. It's going to sound great.
I find myself stuck in your wave. You're pulling me 6 feet away. You're making me sweat.
Yeah, that bass is killer.
So my guitar to by the minute. Boy, please make a move.
Effects here versus the actual production buildup and percussion buildup are a little bit out of balance here. So I would make sure on this song, your priority for the song is, of course, clarity for the vocal. That's obviously going to be one of the most important aspects of pushing this forward. But it also like drums and bass. Drums and bass are everything for a record like this, right? We need punchy, impactful, loud bass, and we need big, snappy drums that are like bright and have body and presence, and feel really, energetic. Thank you so much for the hearts. I appreciate that so much. Is it Ferdo, right? Ferdo, thank you so much for the gifts, man. I appreciate that a lot. So I want to wake up drums and bass. I want to make sure that drums and bass are really, really solid here, because what's happening is that, right, all of you like the scratches and like other elements and percussion in the background, they feel louder, and a lot of other elements in the mix feel kind of louder than the main percussion that comes in here. So we're here. And then those drums come in like really far back. So literally, I think you could probably take like kick, and it is Vadis. It is. Is it a Dequack? Thank you so much for the follow, or Dequick, or Dekick maybe. Let me know. I want to make sure I get your name right. But thank you so much for the follow. It is 11 p.m. That is very true, Vadis. But I definitely want like kick, snare. Ferdo with the money gun too. Come on, man. Come on. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the gifts. Man, I appreciate that so much. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the generosity. Thank you so much for the gifts, man. Thank you for the money gun. If we could get kick and snare. Did you start it no, I did not start at 2 p.m. I've been on for like 2.5 hours. I've been on for like 2.5, nothing too crazy. I just started later. But yeah, it's been about 2.5 hours. I started late today. I'll be late tomorrow too. I've random work schedule this week. But anyways, and thank you so much for the corgi. Come on, man. Ferdo, thank you for the gifts, man. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the generosity, man. The machine, Vadia, we're working like crazy. Getting the studio set up. I got some new stuff in already. More stuff coming in soon. Drums are set up. Drums are mic'd. They're not routed yet because I don't have the console in. So I'm waiting to route, because the drums will all be routed through the console before I send them to the patch bay. So I'm still waiting on a couple things coming in, and then we're gonna be rolling. I'm tired for it, dude. I'm so tired. I'm exhausted, but we're working, man. We're making it happen. It'll settle soon. I'm going like crazy. The last 2 or 3 weeks, I've been working nonstop. Just up early, out late. Just it's been crazy, but that'll settle hopefully in the next couple of weeks. What console am I getting? I'm getting it's an old I think it's like late maybe or early 2000s or late 90s GL 2400. It's a 40 channel Allen Heath. So I'll have 40 channels for some hybrid workflow. So I'll have a couple that I'm tracking in analog, so like drums, room microphones, like the stuff that I'm using to like mic my bass cab and my guitar amps and stuff like that. I'll be going into like the right side of it, and then the like 24 to 30 channels on the left side I'll be using for analog summing, and just like mixing in analog and mixing through the fader. So I'll actually be able to send about 24 channels at least. Let's see how I structure it, but I'm going to try to get 24 channels from Pro Tools back onto the mixer to actually do some mixing hands-on. So much faster, so much easier to just like position an EQ right there, do some insert stuff, and then print, and then just send like the 2-track. No recall. That'll be the fun part. So I'll be doing hybrid. It'll be half analog, half hybrid. So most of my early mixing, printing, stuff like the reverbs and delays and like vocal tuning and stuff like that. Retrack with the gifts. Retrack, thank you for the gifts, man. Dude, I appreciate you so much, man. All of that will be done in Pro Tools. So like main structure of mix of like early editing will all be done on Pro Tools. So all of that's obviously recallable. So all of that is recallable, and I'll be able to like go back and edit. If they're like, I want to change this vocal, I want to switch this around, I want to restructure that. But on the board, it's printed. On the board, it's printed. So that's all straight. Especially, and I'm like analog masters too. Those are all printed how they are. But it's pretty easy for me to make small adjustments there. If it's like too anything, I can always make, pretty easy adjustments there. But I also like committing. I think I make better quality, more intentional decisions when I'm committing more. And so for me, it's faster. It's more tactile. I like working tactile. And it also is, there's the sound qualities of it as well and running through analog. But it's also just going to be a workflow thing for me too. And it forces me to commit to those decisions a little bit earlier. Okay. Are you going to be doing regular submissions? I'll hopefully be able to get through a couple. I'll get through a couple. Depends on how long the next handful of submissions take. But that's what we're talking about. If we can push your main drums, so like kick, hats, and snare, probably kick, hats, and snare. Make sure your non-negotiables on this mix feel powerful. Like I said, sometimes the layers versus like the other percussion, your transitional elements, those feel bigger, feel louder than some of the main elements like lead vocal and even like your main percussion, like kick, snare, hats, and stuff like that. So make sure those as like non-negotiables of like those have to be powerful in the mix. Make sure those feel strong, make sure they feel forward and then supported by the other elements. But your transitions, of course, you don't want louder than like your main percussion elements. Retrack, dude, I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you for, it doesn't tell me the whole name. So what is it? Shard of Hope. Thank you for the spinning soccer. Thank you for the Marvin the Monkey. Dude, I appreciate you so much, man. I appreciate the love, man. Thank you for the gifts. All right, let's get a little deeper. Let's get to the second vocal. Yeah, we're way more connected to those two different vocals now. Way more connected. That's a huge improvement, man. Huge improvement. And still a lot of space on this vocal, but I don't know if you did any changes to that. Maybe it's the changes in the production that helped, but it does feel better, like more in control. All right. I know there was a ton of reverb on it, and there's still a lot of reverb on it. I don't know if you changed anything or not. It's just placebo or something, but it does feel a little bit better balanced here.
Things I get lively. Give me good luck with your good love. That's a good look, love. Before the moon rise by your bedside, now it's our time. Lively. Let's make a move. The day's end soon. Let's ride. Let's ride.
It's such a good song, man. Like the structure is so good. It's so catchy. Good repetition. So good. Yeah, that slides everything. Yeah, the bass is like my favorite. I mean, the vocals are great and like it's catchy and all this stuff. The bass is like my favorite part of this whole song, man. It's killer. Classic slides. Great melody. So good. Lead melody, nice glue at the top right there. I don't know if we talked about that last time either, but glue at the top right there is really, really nice.
Boy, you make me wanna be sun-kissed by you.
So nice, man. So nice. Y'all show some love, man. That is producer Demore right here in the chat. Thank you for the roses, Ferdo. I gotta make sure I get it right. Thank you so much for the roses, man. I appreciate that a lot. Y'all, please show some love to Demore right here in the chat, man. Like I mentioned last time here, such a good song. That matters more than anything. It's a good song. It's a good structure. It's layered well. It's supported well by a great production. I think, like I said, small balancing things in the production, but overall the production is clean. It's very well supported by the bass. It's glued together by the piano and some of your top end pads that are pumped in the background. You're doing a great job building out this production. To me, the production is largely where you need it to be, maybe outside of balancing percussion versus some other elements. But it's so well done, man. And honestly, with the vocal, if that's as far as you can get, like, the clarity of that vocal based on its original quality, then don't worry about it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, if there's really nothing else to do because there were some issues in the early recordings, then you're where you need to be with that vocal. Just focus on timing of BGV versus the lead so that's clean and everything's tight. Beyond that, you can push what you need to forward, and you're going to be ready to go, man. You're going to be ready to go. This is very, very close to being where you need it to be, and then just like mastering for loudness is all you really need. You're going to be ready, man. It sounds so good. Production sounds killer. I think you've locked in on the production. It sounds fantastic, man. Sounds really, really good. But y'all, please show some love. I submitted, sorry, Sarah, I'm drums, but don't run the solo. Okay, beautiful. Love it. Let's go, Fuego. Let's go. I'm excited. But y'all, please show some love to the family. Producer Demore, I love what you do. You're fantastic. Ferdo, thank you so much for the finger hearts as well. I appreciate the love. Thank y'all so much for the gifts, man. That is so incredibly generous of y'all. But let's run it. Let's run this next track. Give it up for the family. This is Sam from... Wait, this is Sam from Eyes of Eden. Eyes of Eden? Is that excited to hear your thoughts? Edge of Eden, Eyes of Eden, something? And Ghost Motion 2. East of Ito. Wait, I was like, hold on. No, you're good. Okay. Dude, how many bands are you in right now? No, you're good. I was like, wait, because I think there is a band that comes in called Eyes of Eden. I'm almost certain. Just two. Okay, got you. I submitted, sorry, Sarah, I'm drums, but don't run the socials. Okay, let's get into it. So this is I Only Have Bad Ideas by Sorry, Sarah. Let's get into it. So this is Sam. East of Ito isn't active no more. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is now the second new one, but you were on 3. That would have been 3. Or am I just making stuff up, right? Okay, let's get into it. And then Sorry Sarah's here as well. Fabulous. Let's go. Right, okay, Jesus. My brain. That makes sense. So now, yeah, that's right. I know most of y'all moved into Ghost Motion. Still on drums though, Sam, right? For that one as well. I get confused. But let's get into it. Thank you so much for submitting. Yeah, I know. Well, it's all the different submissions, all the different names, and then things that I'm familiar with changing, and then having to remember the change of the other ones too. But I love what you do. Sorry, Sarah. Let's get into it. Give me some notes. Talk to me about what's going on. I'm so excited to get into it. I appreciate you. Y'all are very, very kind. Talk to me about this. Talk to me about Sorry, Sarah, and what this is and what I'm listening to. The role that y'all play, obviously I know Sam, the role that you play in your music as far as production, band, building out, mixing and stuff like that. We recorded with our homie in their living room. Love that. Fabulous. Those are the vibes, man. Those are the vibes. Let me pull it up on Spotify. This is I Only Have Bad Ideas by Sorry Sarah. I like the name too. That's cool. That song's gonna be stuck in my head so bad. Grungy shoegaze. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. We're a 4-piece dreamy alternative rock band. It's grungy shoegaze. Fabulous. Let's go. This is I Only Have Bad Ideas by Sorry Sarah. Jaw, we'll be live again tomorrow evening. So tap in then. Make sure that you're following. I already like it. This better be slow. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm 100%. I love that lift.
Reminding me of what I haven't dealt with
That lift is great.
All my demons weigh me down. I'd like to think I could turn it around, but I only have bad ideas. I only have bad ideas.
It's a great hook.
I only have bad ideas.
Love this mix.
I only have bad.
It's just low fidelity enough and just polished enough of a mix to make it really shine. It's great.
What if I chose to believe you?
Uh-huh.
What if I chose to believe you?
Love the saturation in the vocals.
What if I chose to believe you? What if I chose to believe? Don't touch me.
Yeah.
Don't
fuzzy.
act like you suddenly care. Don't call me. Don't pretend like you were never there. Don't want me. Don't follow me up the stairs. Don't want me. I don't want to see I don't believe you. I don't believe you.
Hell yeah.
I don't believe you.
Yeah, it's typically pretty raw for an album. Like pretty loose structure, pretty open. Yeah, let's go, Tom. Welcome in. Good to see you. I know I'm on late for me. It's late for me. Y'all, show some love. Show some love. Yeah. This like alternative, like shoegaze, rock stuff like this is typically a little bit like looser in its structure. It's typically like slow, noisy, reverberated, overdriven, saturated, reverb on everything. Like that's the very typical structure for this style of music. Clean cuts and transitions, and then like really vibrant, noisy sound design. But man, y'all show some love. So in this genre, in this space, this is killer. Really, 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 really well done. I Only Have Bad Ideas by Sorry Sarah. Let's run it from the top. Let's dig into some details. Crushed. Love the mix on this. It's noisy. There's some parts of this that when I'm listening to it, especially high feedback on the guitars, you have some harmonics opening up. This is why I talk about this all the time, of mixing to the song, mixing to the artist, to the genre, right? Like to make sure, because there's things that I'm going to say about this song that I'll say the opposite of in a different song, depending on the context of it, depending on the environment the song is typically played in and stuff like that. There's some parts of this where there's a lot of like ringing in the mids, right? Like the guitars are super bright. They come in and they really, really force through the mix. Anytime the harmonics are hit, every time the feedback kicks in on one of the breakdowns, transitioning to a hook or post hook, whatever it is, it comes in fairly harsh. Like it comes in bright, it rings, it really kicks in. But to me, ironically, within this structure, a different song, I'd be like, hey, suppress that, dive, maybe get more surgical about this. In this particular song, it does like exactly what it's supposed to do. And it gets loud and it feels loud. And cringe, not in like a negative cringe way, but like you have this reaction to some of that harshness and some of that resonance in there. That I think is like a proper response to the loudness that you're pushing. Now, sometimes it still just does feel a little bit bright, and maybe that could be softened a little bit. Maybe like on the high leads and harmonics, and maybe high end of like even the drums a little bit. Like there's some at the top end of like layering, top end of this like mix. So maybe like top end of drums, top end of like the leads and the harmonics when they kick in could be softened a little bit. But even that's very stylistic, right? It really depends on kind of what you're doing. But that's, some of that is obviously up. Every engineer is going to have a different perspective on that. If I were to get super picky, the cymbals, I thought it was fantastic. If I were to get super picky, the cymbals felt a little bright too, but maybe that was good genre, like stylistically. Yeah, I like to make it feel like the music hits you, the wall of sound. Facts, 100%. Is the feeling of mixed voice closer to the feeling of head voice or chest voice? For me, it's closer to head voice. But I mean, it's very much so like here. You know what I mean? So like, as opposed to feeling like more of like a vibration here for me, like a mixed voice here, I feel like you're gonna kind of feel it here. Now there's still gonna be some resonance in the head, but mixed voice you're gonna hear a lot more kind of here in the middle, right? That nay, right? Nay, like if you have like that, again, that sounds crazy, but that's where you're gonna get a lot more resonance right here, less support from it's supported by the chest voice, but it's also not a falsetto. Most of that, I feel like nasal and kind of like upper, cheek kind of in here. That's where you're going to get, like, I think, more of the resonance there. Okay, but let's get into it. Let's dive into it. Yeah, we'll dig into the mix and stuff here just briefly. But that is always the interesting thing with this genre and subgenre and styles similar to this is. You want the wall, you want the huge, just brick of sound that hits you in the chest and it's noisy and it's crazy and you want to get people feeling the emotion and the drive and the tension of the music without making it harsh and brittle to listen to where people actually like have an instinct to turn it down when they're listening to it versus crank it up, right? There's a sweet spot in between the two, of course, we can talk about. But man, I love everything y'all are doing. The sounds awesome. Sounds really, really good. And great voice too, Sarah. Great voice. Like, and this intro too, it's a great intro. I mean, there's so much about this I love. There's so much about this I love. And really too, like, on the drums, again, as the drummer, you can have your perspective too, of course, like how you want your drums presented in the mix. And then the engineer has their perspective on how they would balance it in the mix. And then the artist has the executive producer kind of role of like, well, this is the aesthetic that I want for the whole song. And there might be differing opinions between all of that. And then there's like me who's over here just like, hey, do it this way. Like, everyone's going to have a very different perspective on it. Here's my gut instinct on hearing this for the first time and having now heard one Sorry Sarah song and kind of the aesthetic of it and the fuzz of the guitars, the distortion and the saturation of the vocal, the beautiful slap delays at the end of it, open reverbs. Like I'm hearing now the aesthetic of it. One fix that might mitigate all of the things that we're talking about as far as like the drums go would be just on like the bus itself, like all of the drums, once they're balanced, sent to a drum bus and how that's mixed there. Maybe a hair of kind of dirty saturation on there, like get a little bit of like crunch, a little bit of like tape distortion, some like preamp burn, you know what I mean? Like maybe even just a hair of crunch on those drums, some harmonics on the drums. For one, it will give them a little bit more weight. They won't feel so shiny and pristine. They sound awesome. They sound fantastic. But in my opinion, maybe too good. Maybe you're too good. Like maybe just crunch it up a hair. Just crunch it up a hair. If I can, real quick, let me, because this is what I like to do. Let me put on some drums here real quick, just to kind of tell you what I'm talking about, so it makes a little bit more sense. some saturation on the drums, distortion on the drums on the bus. So it's going to affect everything. One, it's going to give more weight. It's going to be less clean, less sharp. It's going to give more weight, more body. There's more harmonics. Obviously, it's going to do that. It's also going to help soften the cymbal ring, right? Like some of the ringing and the resonance that we're getting out of the cymbals, that feels really slicey. They sound great. It's a great kit. It's a great set. Like everything sounds good. Like again, in this record, it sounds awesome. But if you just personally feel like it's too sharp, it's too slicey, the harmonics will fill that in and it'll shave off that top end. It'll just crunch it up in a way that's really, really musical, in the same way that you do that with the vocal, in the same way that you like take a clean guitar and you run it through a tube amp and that tube saturates and it just kind of shaves off the top and gives it this really warm, crunchy sound. That's what I'm talking about. So let me, just for the sake of hearing this real quick, we'll see what happens here. So. Okay. These are going to sound like shit, but that's fine. That's what we're here for, right? All right. Let's do some super, super shitty drums and give it a little bit of room. And then literally all I'm going to do, this is funny. All I'm going to do is I'm not even going to use tape for this. I'm actually going to run it into an emulation of a vintage MPC M60 or an MPC 60. And I'm going to crank the preamp on it because it's got like old DAC. I'm going to crank the preamp on an emulation of an old MPC, and we'll hear it distort and saturate. Like I'll exaggerate it, and you'll hear like that's crazy, right? That sounds nuts. But obviously you can go clean. But if we find like a sweet spot and I downsample it a little bit, like kind of right in there. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate that a lot. Let's you're gonna hate this, but only review channel right now without a massive chat. Yeah, we're live on 3 different platforms right now, and we're closed. So that's one of the reasons why. We had like up to like 45 people on TikTok earlier, and more people on Twitch and YouTube randomly. Our primary stream is on TikTok, and right now the lines are completely closed, and that's where people are on there. We've been closed for like the last hour. But yeah, I'm not worried about the lines. I'm not worried about the chats. Okay, but like right here. This is a pretty nasty kit. It's just a one, but just the level of, there's a little bit of crunch on it. And again, this is going to sound like a bit extreme. I'm going to play it over just like what's here. It's going to sound crazy, so ignore half of what I'm doing. But this is kind of what I'm talking about, of just adding a little bit of texture and a little bit of color. And I don't have cymbals that are going to match what you're doing because these sound terrible. But what'll happen within the structure of your production and you on the drums is help shaving off and like kind of suppressing and saturating those cymbals as well, so they don't feel so harsh and so crazy. Okay.
Didn't question what you said. I look in the mirror and hate what I say. In my reflection, I say your name 3 times. I only have bad ideas.
And these drums are great. They're great. Anyways, all of that to say that like there is, ignore what's here. I'm using free drums and whatever. You get the idea though. But what I'm talking about is if you are feeling like they're too resonant, same with vocals, same guitars, whatever, that saturation helps shave that. It helps just kind of carve off that top, fill in those harmonics, give you more weight, whatever. I'm kind of push it to the extreme to give it a little bit more weight, but you get the idea. And so, same thing with some of the other elements. If it feels a little bit harsh, sometimes it's just like, it's one of the things that I love about like my vocal preamp. The 73 is like, that's one of the things that it does really, really well, is push that input. If you push that input, you push the gain on the on the 1073, it just gives it this like warmth, and it gives it this forwardness in the mix. It gives it body, it gives it some texture, all without feeling harsh. It just opens it up in a really beautiful way. That's the power of like in this case, that's with a transformer. This mic is with a tube. Like anything that allows you to fill in those harmonics. Saturation is the shaved top end, but distortion to make it dirty. Yeah, so if you want to distort the signal and kind of break it apart, what's up, Faith? You want to break it apart a little bit more. The distortion itself, that can be more of a stylistic decision, right? Like pushing just a little bit of saturation. Like I can just like turn up a preamp or like add a tape emulation or something to a drum bus, like a Kramer tape or something like that. And I can just like bring it up just a little bit, and it'll help like smooth out a signal. You'll get tape compression, right? That saturation will like naturally compress. This is actually something that they used to use a ton in the 80s. In fact, Bruce Swedien and the engineers and producers that were working with Michael Jackson were kind of famous for utilizing this. Like they didn't compress Michael Jackson vocals. That was one of the things that he would talk about all the time, is he refused to compress them because he wanted them to be fully dynamic in the mix, but he would run it obviously through tape. And then he would push the preamps like crazy going into the tape so that when it hit the tape, it would saturate and it would naturally compress it and smooth it out. And so it's the same kind of thing that we're talking about here. If like those drums feel like they're too slicey, they're too dynamic or anything like that, and you don't want to just squash them with compression, of course you can, and it's completely valid and a viable option. But you want to help with that a little bit and smooth it out, maybe saturate first. Like maybe smooth it out a little bit and warm it up a little bit with like a tape emulation, like a Kramer tape from Waves, or there's a bunch of other options out there. That's the one that I use all the time. Smooth it out a little bit, give it some harmonics and some crunch with the Kramer tape, and then 1176 or like Waves, R comp and whatever on after that to kind of give it more punch and slice whatever you want. Okay, all of that aside, enough about that. Let's keep it rolling. So good.
Reminding me of what I haven't dealt with yet.
So much great like texture and harmonics and like strings in the background. Like they're so good. Super, super well done vocal structure. All of this sounds fantastic. Sarah, you're awesome. Like this is such a good format for the vocals. There's plenty of space, but it fills out really, really nice. It's so good. It's so good. Good lyrics. Killer. Great mix. It's a great lyric. It's like a great punchline for the song as well. Like, yeah, so good. Let me get into this next section here really quick. Yeah, fantastic. For those of you who are interested too, this song is out on all platforms. So please go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist, go follow on Spotify and other DSPs. Follow here on TikTok. Definitely go stream this song, add it to your playlist. I mean, you're crushing it. It's really, really good quality stuff. Great separation and clarity. Again, we get a wall of sound. We get all of this energy, but I can still pick out the bass. I can still pick out these double tracks and where things are. It's really, really well done. This stuff is going to be so good live. I hope you're performing. I'm going to get into the outro here really quick. Yeah, fantastic. So good. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I hope y'all are performing live. If you're not, you definitely should be. And if you are, you should be recording it. You should be syncing it with the studio audio and making content with it. It's so good. This is a fan favorite. Love it. So glad. So glad. So glad. Make sure y'all are getting content from the show. Sync it with the original audio, especially if you're clicking everything. Definitely make sure that's happening. Cause that's just the way, for one, that's just the way the bands hit these days. If you're wanting to really, really catch as far as like getting more actual like streams and monthlies and stuff like that, the way that it works with content is like not using the live audio, but using your live footage. So just have a friend with a couple iPhones or whatever, just, sync it to, put it with the hard drive or whatever, record and log, put it in cinematic mode and get footage of the entire show vertically. And then if you're playing with a click or a BG track, then make sure that it's synced to the studio audio. And then promote those little sections of the songs. Y'all are crushed. I mean, it's so good. I haven't seen your page or anything, so maybe y'all are already doing all of that. But man, if you can get some halfway decent promotion of this, killer, absolutely killer. But promotion that like feels fairly like pointed and fairly polished. I love it. It's just messy enough to make it feel real and emotional and grounded. I love it. I love it. This should not be polished. This should not be like pristine and sterile. Killer. Amazing. So good, so good, so good. Y'all show some love to Sorry Sarah and Sam right here in the chat. That's Fuego Blanco right here in the chat. Please show them some love and support. Like I said, go stream it, go like it, go add it to your playlist. Go crank that shit and have some fun with it. Amazing job to everyone involved. It's really, really beautiful musicianship, a great mix, great production, great vocal structure. It's really, really well put together. Absolutely. Any other feedback? To me, the only thing that I would be like loosely concerned with is some of that harshness, just because it does. And take this with a grain of salt. I've also been listening to music for 3 hours straight after a day of listening to music. So take that with a little bit of a grain of salt. I might have some fatigue. So I don't want to be too pointed with that. But yeah, for me, this that top end. The top end for me, a little bit of the top of the drums, a little bit of the top of the guitars. I want the wall. I want the saturation. I want it distorted. I want it going crazy. It could potentially be on the master side, maybe, just because of how many different things. And again, every engineer has a different bias with stuff like this. Some of them, they want a really bright mix. My gut makes me feel like, my intuition is that it's the master, because I kind of hear it on everything. I hear it a little bit on the vocal, but the vocal's a little bit more saturated, so it darkens it a little bit and it kind of cuts through the mids. But I hear it on the top of the drums, mainly cymbals like overheads. Hear it at the top of the double track guitars. I hear it on the lead guitar that cuts in on the left a little bit. So my gut tells me it's probably master, because it's a blanket that's affecting a lot of different elements, or at the very least maybe a instrument bus or something, an instrument bus leading to the master that's got a big high push at like 5K or 6K or something like that. But kind of sounds master, like it might be master end, just because of how many different things it's affecting. Usually if it's just like only the guitars are really, really bright, then you'll just hear really, really bright guitars, but everything else is fine. But if you hear super bright vocal, super bright overheads on the drums, super bright guitars, so on and so on, then odds are it's something that's blanketing all of those things where they just cranked that frequency and it affected 8 different elements underneath it, so on and so on. But yeah, double check that, and see. But even then, the energy of the song is so powerful that I think the song overrides any mixed detail. Although I do think it's beneficial to take care of the mixed details. I think the song is better than the mixes. And I think that's always going to be the case. Like, that's always the thing that you want, is that you have something so well structured that it doesn't even matter if it's mixed perfectly. People feel it, they relate to it, they engage with it, so on and so on. I like to master with the Pultec and a limiter, and that's it. Yeah. Some people keep it super, super simple. There's plenty of mixes and stuff that I've done where literally all we have is a limiter. The mix was exactly what it was supposed to be, and we just worked for loudness, added a limiter, maybe some soft clipping within Ozone or something. That's it. And then there's other times where there has been more layers to a master, and there's been a little bit more detail to it. But it's not all necessary. Again, as always, it depends on what serves the song. In this case, I prefer a more raw, more noisy, maybe even more harsh, mix just because you feel the energy of the song, right? It really, really cuts in. Now, if it's so harsh that people turn down, then that's a factor you want to definitely lean into. Production is going to help your song, facts, 100%, right? I think that's why, like, many of y'all have heard me talk about it a bunch, but like, what's like the priority of things? And I was like, the song itself, what the song is, like the lyrics, the melody, the way the vocalist is emoting, matters so much more. That's why people blow up. Like, I've seen so many people like blow up by like playing acoustic guitar in their song, or I'm sorry, playing acoustic guitar in their car and just like singing. And they blow up, and people love and adore what they do. And there's never a good mix to it. And then sometimes what happens, you'll see this on TikTok all the time. Someone blows up like just playing acoustic guitar and like singing, or just like singing in a garage with a bunch of, reverb and stuff like that. And then they produce the song and people don't like it. This happens all the time. And this is why it's important in this genre to keep a more raw production and bias that way. Because oftentimes what happens is people then go like, oh, I should go record this in a studio. They get a deal with a label. And the next thing you know, they've sterilized all their records and they all feel like clean and watered down and diluted. And that's not what people wanted. They liked the sound and the feeling and the emotion and the connection of them playing acoustic guitar in their car. And so I think it is important to realize that like high fidelity is not always the answer. Like, you know what I mean? Like super pure, clean, transparent isn't always the answer. Sometimes you need dirty. Sometimes you need a little bit of nastiness in the mix to actually get the feeling. In y'all's case, if you're performing live, you might actually want strategically a little bit of harshness in there. And again, I would say the opposite to the next person, right? Like the next person comes, I'm like, dude, take care of the harshness. But because you're translating live shows and getting fans from live shows, you want a good, accurate translation of your performances to what you hear in the studio. So when people hear you live and then they hear the studio record, like, oh, this is lifeless, right? Or vice versa. They hear a really energetic, studio record and they see you live and like, well, this doesn't add up at all. You want translation back and forth so that people are really confident in the experience that you're giving them musically. So anyways, I just, like I've said a million times, mix to the song, perform to the song. It all has to be in service of the record. If it's not, that's why there's no one size fits all. That's why I can't just sit here and like give one person advice and then for the next 3 hours, I'm like, yeah, just listen to what I say. Listen to what I said for the first person. It's the same thing. It's different for everybody because it's a different feeling, a different artist, different genre, different environments, different gear, different everything, right? So y'all show some love, man. Show some love to Sorry Sarah. Absolutely love and adore what y'all are doing. It's great. Sam, I love what you do, man. The best drummer on the talk. Definitely hire him. Do session work. Do whatever you offer. Definitely hire him. Love what you do. Make more bands, man. If this is what you do in all of your bands, just make more bands. Y'all show them some love and support. Appreciate y'all so much. Let's get into the next couple tracks here. I do have to. Sam is the best. I love what Sam does. Sam, if you don't do session work, get hired. You deserve it, man. Everything that I've heard from Sam and any number of bands or ex-bands have all been fantastic. So I like what you do, man. We got Ferdo in the building. Ferdo, hop in the chat. I know you've been very patient, man. I appreciate it so much. We're going to get into our last couple songs here, y'all. I'm starting to feel it in the ears. It's been a long day. It's been a late night. So I'm going to call it after the next couple. But Ferdo, hop in the chat. Ferdo's right there. Let's go. Let me see what's. Get these. Clear the lane here. All right, let's get into it. This is Growth by Ferdo. Ferdo, I think it's my first time hearing you, so I appreciate you so much, man. Thank you so much for tapping into the stream today. This is my second professional studio session ever. Fresh. Let's go. I love that. A lot has to do with the situation. My ex left my daughter and me in. Left me in after cheating, having another baby, and discarding her daughter, essentially. Damn, man. Sorry to hear that. Man. Sometimes pain, tension, frustration makes the best art. So let's get into it. Talk to me. You said this is your second professional studio session. So I'm assuming you went and tracked vocals in a studio. Potentially they mixed it too. Let me know. Or if you ended up mixing it on your own and then whatever. But yeah, let me know some of the details of that. And then as far as production goes, let me know. Is this self-produced? Is it a BeatStars lease? Is it a YouTube beat? Is it a producer that you know? Hired an engineer? Beautiful. Love it. Let's get into it. This is Growth by Ferdo. Gotta do my puzzle on TikTok. Hold on. right, let's go, man.
Recently something just snapped.
Thank you for the follow.
I can feel this rap shit in my blood, it's in my DNA. You can tell me all you want,
Hold on, let me-
if I won't be swayed. It's been long.
It's playing in the app. Let me pull it up on. I want to see the video, so let me pull it up on YouTube real quick. There we go. There we go. All right, let's see it. Let's see it. Let's see it.
Sferto. Look, recently something just snapped.
Yeah. I can feel this rap shit in my blood, it's in my DNA. You can tell me all you want, I got belief, I won't be swayed. It's been long enough.
Thank you for the follow, Larman. Appreciate it.
Work for me. I was straying from the mission, shit got blurry, cloudy vision. But it's back to killing tracks you always left. You said it's stupid. Belittle my craft and you gon' see what I can do. I'm fluid. I put time and effort in the music. 10 years I've been at it, manifesting. I'm investing, trying to make my pockets fatter. I don't need you drama, stay away from me if that's your deal. Heart's been frozen, nice love has a price and that's a shitty deal. I can't think of times in life where that worked out. I'm being real, except my family and my daughter. I ain't Catholic, but I wanna thank the Father for these blessings in my life. I remember feeling fucked up as a teen. I had to fight. I was depressed and suicidal.
Where'd you get the beat?
In the night, then I downed the fucking script and crawled in bed and closed my eyes. Mentally, I say goodbye to everyone I know, cause I won't be here tomorrow. I'm a
It's a good mix, good clarity.
If you've been there, then you know that your pain is temporary. You just need some time for growth.
Okay, cool.
So hold on. I tend to overthink my life. I tend to overthink what's right. I tend to overdrink it, drink it till I see the light. I'm searching for some peace of mind. Turns out it's really hard to find, but I can let the demons win when I know I can light to shine. And sometimes I go back and look at my notepad and I am amazed that I wrote that, but I had some help from my God, that ain't no cap. Now it's time for me to do me, I'ma spit gas. Cause I'm about the business, bitch, you fuck, you don't deserve forgiveness. I've been crunching numbers, you don't need to be no mathematician to see that you was fucking me and not the good positions. Every single action near the end you took was so suspicious, so fictitious, so malicious. You was always on my back, always hit me on the edge, and I thank God I never snapped. Try to keep composure like a soldier, but I'm only human. If it wasn't for my daughter, then I think I'd fucking slaughter every single memory I had of us. I ain't trying to cause no drama, I don't mean to cause a fuss, but that shit was weighing heavy and I need to be upfront. I ain't like the man who met you, ain't no chance I leveled up. I'll never do that shit again, was toxic and I feel disgusted. I've been down and I've been lonely, feeling like nobody knows me, but I guess that's part of life and maybe something worth discussion. But for now it's back to spitting, and that's
It's a cool studio. Where is that studio? It looks cool.
That's growth. And that's growth. That's growth.
So it is not surprising
Yeah.
that some would have us stay where we are a little longer, to rest, to wait. This was not built by those who waited and rested and wished to look behind them.
I can feel this rap shit in my blood, it's in my DNA. You can tell me all you want, I got belief, I won't be swayed. It's been long enough, I called your bluff, it's back to work for me. I was straying from the mission, shit got blurry, cloudy vision.
Okay, cool,
But it's
nice.
back to killing tracks you always left, you said it's stupid. Belittle my craft and you gon' see what I can do.
So you're in Canada?
Time and effort in the music, 10 years I've been at it, manifesting, I'm investing, trying to make my
Yeah, that's a cool studio. I like that.
Drama, stay away from me if
Seems
that's
chill.
your deal. Heart's been frozen, nice love has a price and that's a shitty deal. I can think of times in life where that worked
Hell
out.
yeah,
I'm being
awesome.
real, except my family and my daughter. I just wanna thank the Father.
Yeah, it's a cool spot. Y'all show some love, man. Show some love, show some love. We got Ferdo in the building. That is Growth by Ferdo. I believe, is the song out? I think it's out, right? Because I think it's been 5 months for this video. Let me see. Larman, we're not playing, for one, we're closed, and two, we're not playing popular artist request. But man, y'all show some love. Show some love, show some love. That is Growth by Ferdo. If it is out on all platforms, it's on YouTube, not Spotify yet. Okay, sounds good. Y'all go support it, man. Go check out the music video that they have on there, or at least like the early video that you have so far. Let me know if/when you have plans to distribute it to other platforms as well. But let's run it from the top. And I also want to do a quick roll call. Let me see, because I know some people have been in and out. I just want to see who I have on here, because I do need to hop off of here in just a little bit. I just want to see where people are at. Let me see, DTSK, Passenger, Tep, and Benny. Let me know who's here, if any of y'all. Otherwise, we might have to close early, just because I gotta rest my ears for tomorrow as well. Larman, we're closed. We're closed. Quick roll, quick roll. Okay, cool. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow. It'll be around the same time. So it's going to be evening again. It'll probably be a little bit of a shorter live tomorrow, slightly shorter live tomorrow. Today I'm doing, almost 4 hours, but tomorrow will be probably a little bit shorter, just a hair. But it'll be, let's assume 6 or 7 p.m. Central-ish, something like that. 6 or 7 p.m. and I'll be on for like 2 or 3 hours, something like that. Okay, let's get into the song. So I think we'll probably close. After this song. So I gotta rest my ears. I'm gonna have an early morning, so I want to make sure that I got everything in order that I need, so I can finish the work that I have tomorrow. But let's run it from the top, man. Growth by Ferdo. Let's get into it. Very, very few things as far as like practical goes, like mix goes and stuff like that. One of the things I want to bullet point before we get into it is a little bit of sibilance. So those S's, T's, C's, and K's sometimes a little bit harsh just occasionally. Most of like the mix on your vocal is pretty good, especially for like where this mix is at currently. It's like pretty well balanced. It's very, very compressed. It's well saturated. Like this is a good punchy driven rap vocal over the top of a song. Like this is what you want out of a clean rap vocal at the top of a record. A little bit harsh every once in a while. So, and potentially if I think there is a de-esser on that vocal, maybe fine tuning frequency and maybe lowering that de-esser another 2 or 3 dB to help control that sibilance a little bit more so it doesn't slice through when you have like an S heavy phrase. That's usually where you'll hear it the most, where there's a line of a lot of, S's and T's and it slices through a little bit more. I think a hair more control there would be nice just to reduce some of that harshness. But otherwise, man, pretty well balanced mixed overall, even though I know it's not distributed yet. So I'm excited that you're getting ready to push this forward as well. Let's run it from the top. His kids are had to take time out for it. Man, I'm sorry to hear that, man. Going through it, man.
Recently something
Yeah.
just snapped.
That's valid. That's valid. What's up, Joel? Good to see you, man. I would highly, especially when you're dealing with like really simple simple intros for productions like this, I would highly recommend that you optimize your intro structure with some vocal say somethings. Give us some context. Now, you right before you start, 20 seconds in, 22 seconds in, it wasn't paying, so I couldn't keep paying. No, I feel that, man. About 20 seconds in, you get and then something just snapped, right? You have this little moment in the song before you actually kickstart your first verse, right? The first, section of bars right there. When you're getting into that first 20 seconds though, we really just have a simple production structure. And nowadays there's just no room for that. You need to introduce yourself as an artist early on. We talk about the streaming thresholds all the time. I'll say it again, just because, there's new people that are coming in all the time. And I know this is our last song, so we're getting out of here in a second. So there's no one here, but one of the things, I had so many songs I was ready to start working on, man. Yeah, you're going to get it back, man. You're going to get it back. I'm not worried about it. You're going to get it back, man. Not even a question. Most of the major DSPs have a streaming threshold of 30 seconds for payout and for register, right? So that means that you have to have your song streamed for at least 30 seconds for it to register as a stream and get paid. What that means is you could have 1 million people stream I say this all the time. You could have 1 million people stream your song for 27 seconds, and then skip out and be like, nah, nothing happened. I got bored, and they move out, and you'll see 0 streams and 0 cents from it. No, most of us see 0 cents anyways, but you're not going to see any payment, and you're not going to see a registered stream, even though 1 million people streamed it for 27 seconds. You got to get people past that threshold, right? You need to introduce yourself early on. There is 1 million songs, not counting AI. I think it's about 2.6 million songs, 2.4 to 2.6 million songs now with AI that are put on Spotify and most major DSPs every single week. It's insane. It's like an unbelievable. Actually, I think it's probably far higher than that now. I want to say now it's up to like 400,000 songs a day, which is insane because of the saturation of AI, which is just nuts. It's an incredible amount of saturation, right? So that's what you're competing against. That's what you're running into as far as like cutting through the noise with your music. So if you just let this happen, and again, there's nothing wrong with this beat, and there's nothing wrong with what's happening, and the quality of the mix is pretty well done, right? But if this just plays, This is just in a sea of noise of millions of pieces of music-based content put on platforms every week. And then it runs again. There's a little voice introduction there. It's cool. It's cinematic. I would highly, highly recommend that as soon as this kicks in, start saying something. Start introducing yourself as an artist. Start talking about the song. Start giving some context, like the pain or whatever, the frustration that you have leading into the main structure of the song. Introduce yourself. Yeah, not much going on right there, right? And people are bored. People have a short attention span, especially nowadays, people need to move on quickly, right? And so I would just recommend, the only time that you can get away with like a longer intro is for one, you don't care about optimizing for platforms. And that's valid. I want to say that as well. If you're just like, you know what, I like the intro as is. I want it to live in its own space. I like the instrumentation. I don't want to introduce myself too early. I want to wait for this full cycle to happen. And I don't care if there's consequences on streaming because of it. Valid. You're the artist, right? That's 100% a valid take. And you would be correct in doing that because you made that decision, right? But if you do are like, I want to get this message to as many people as possible, I do want to optimize this a little bit more, then I would highly recommend introducing yourself earlier, you can say something, you could sample parts of your hook, you could bring in some other vocal textures earlier on and make it a little bit snappier. I haven't distributed yet, so I may do that before 100%. And it can be simple, it can be filtered. I wanted my producer to help me fill out the legal stuff. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, get everything in order. Obviously, that's really valuable. Make sure that everything's like registered. If you don't already, make sure that your PRO is ordered, that you're licensing and registering everything to your work so that you have ownership of what you need to, and you're getting royalties from every field. All of this stuff is great. Obviously, making sure splits are going where you want them to go, so on and so on. So I think it's smart to get all of that lined up, get all of that licensed and registered, and get all of your splits taken care of on the publishing side and the mechanical side. So you just know you don't have to worry about the business side after that, and just get it released. So if you have an opportunity to optimize a little bit of that, I just do think it is worth it. And then if you're in the process of maybe polishing some of that intro stuff already, however you end up facing that, that's also where I'd probably take care of some of the sibilant stuff too. Just like a quick revision on the mix to make sure that it's not too harsh.
Look, recently.
Shit in my blood, it's in my DNA. You can tell me all you want, I got belief, I won't be swayed. It's been long enough, I called you bluff.
So you can hear really smooth compression. Like I said, I don't mind that at all. It's really smooth compression. The vocal feels very forward in the mix. It's very well controlled dynamically. I'm not mad at that. That sounds fine. But what you'll hear is those S's slicing in. Those S's slicing into the middle of the mix is what I want to mitigate when everything else is so warm and so even, right? Because it's so well compressed. Those S's slicing is that's going to stand out against a really warm vocal production. Jelly Bear, are you in the consultation line or the free line? Let me know. I might be just looking at the wrong name.
From the mission, shake up blurry, cloudy vision. But it's back to killing tracks you always left. You said it's stupid. Be lit on my craft and you gon' see what I can do. I'm fluid. I put time and effort in the music. 10 years I've been at it, manifesting. I'm investing.
Good in and outs too. Double structure there is great.
Trying to make my pockets fatter. I don't need you drama. Stay away from me if that's your deal. Heart's been frozen. Nice love has a price and that's a shitty deal. I can't think of times in life where that worked out. I'm being real. Except my family and my daughter. I ain't Catholic, but I wanna thank the Father for these blessings in my life. I remember feeling fucked up as a teen. I had to fight. I was depressed and suicidal. Grabbed a bottle in the night. Then I
like positioning and loudness and like processing on your doubles and the in and outs are fantastic. Those are positioned really well. They add just enough to the mix to make it pop and give it some energy and get a nice stack right there. And then when they leave, they're not taking away too much, right? That's when you crank those too much or they're too impactful in the mix, they add too much and then they take away too much. So when they're not there, the vocal feels weak. That's a good example of in and outs and vocal accents right there that are really, really well done. Those feel really clean, really clear. They're supported well. They don't add or take away too much from the mix at all.
down the fucking script and crawl
Yeah, great job. And great on the engineering too.
Everyone I know, cause I won't be here tomorrow. Right, I tend to over drink it till I see the light. I'm searching for some peace of mind. Turns out it's really hard to find, but I can let the demons win when I know I got light to shine. And sometimes I go back and look at my notepad and
this little low texture right here, this lower section right here, there's a bit of more of that like metallic ring in the background of the vocal there as well. That could be a myriad of different things. It could be something just within the processing. It could be some like frequency excitement, some artifact in there. It could also be some kind of like aliasing issues with like there's like fresh air on that vocal to make it brighter and make it airier and stuff like that. That you can hear a little bit of that in the background. It does sound like some like high frequency excitement. I would pull stuff like that back a little bit too. It just gives you this kind of metal shimmer in the background of the vocal that sounds kind of like robotic and shiny, as opposed to just like punchy and saturated. You can hear it on a couple sections where it's like really, really smoothed out. I don't know if it's fresh air. I don't know if it's some other processing or something that was happening within like your earlier chain of the vocal. But like little things like that. So this is honestly a pretty well balanced mix. The production is super vibrant and super energetic. Most of your vocal, like I said, in and outs and compression and stuff is really clean and clear. I really don't mind the mix on it at all. Sounds really, really nice. And there's every once in a while these like tiny little details that they just kind of rear their ugly head every once in a while. It's very, very subtle, but there's harshness and the S's and T's, your sibilants, or it's this kind of like metallic shimmer that's happening underneath, which is most likely fresh air or like a high frequency exciter or something like that. That is adding some of that kind of at the top of the mix right there.
And sometimes I go back.
You can hear it a little bit here.
And look at my notepad and I am amazed that I wrote that, but I had some help from my God, that ain't no cap. Now it's time for me to do me, I'ma spit gas, cause I'm about the business, bitch, you fuck, you don't deserve forgiveness. I've been crunching numbers, you don't need to be no mathematician. Not the God, I never snap. Try to keep composure like a soldier, but I'm only human. If it wasn't for my daughter, then I think I'd fucking slaughter every single memory I had of us. I ain't trying to cause no drama, I don't mean to cause a fuss, but that shit was weighing heavy, and I need to be upfront. I ain't like the man who met you, ain't no chance I leveled up. I'll never do that shit again.
And last thing for me, man. And again, like you obviously know how to create structure. Millennial, welcome in. I appreciate you being here. You obviously know how to create structure. You obviously know how to write bars. Like that to me is not going to be like in question, right? You can always, especially the more that you execute, the more that you're able to do this, the more that you have the time and financial capacity to execute at a higher scale and stuff like that. I'm really not worried about it. Like you'll be able to figure out your songs. I think you're gonna be in a great spot. I'm not too worried about where you're gonna go with that. One of the things that I would focus on a little bit as well is changes in not just vocal energy, not just like tension behind the vocal versus softer and just more intense, but also like register of vocal, inflections of the vocal. A lot of this vocal in this song, now the production does have some changes, but a lot of the vocal in this song are in a very, very close like dynamic and register of the vocal. And what's going to happen is just over time in the song, the vocal will kind of slowly lose its energy, even if you're doing the same thing, just because you've heard a lot of the same kind of information and the same like profile in the mix for a long period of time. So that's where I would love to just get like, not just different energy, not just like trying harder or like putting in more like angst or something like that, but actually like different inflections in the vocal, different ranges of the vocal, going a little bit higher in your vocal register for a moment and then dipping back down. We get small changes in energy, small changes in tension in the vocal, but largely most of it's it's in this pocket right here. And we'll get some tension changes, like I said, but it doesn't ever really move outside of that. Or if it does, it's like one word, right? There's like one word where we should, like earlier, like, a minute into the song, there's like a word or two that kind of jumps out, right? Where we get a little bit more of that tension out of the vocal and then we're back into that range. I would love for you to like sit in some different moments in the song for like a full like 4 bars or 8 bars where we shift the energy a little bit and then shift into something else. What it's going to do is just make it feel less monotonous. By monotonous, I don't even mean just like it's a boring song, but like monotone, one note, one tone for a long period of the song. Because if I go here, I'm going to chop through like every 15 seconds of the song.
It's back to work from, stay away from me if then I down the fucking for some peace of mind. Fuck, you don't deserve, then I think I'd fucking slip it and ask. I was straying from the mission shit. I'm investing trying to.
So from like the highest dynamic moment in the song, and from like your lowest, more like, vulnerable parts of the song, the range of what the vocal is doing between those two moments is very small. And that's where I think it could be really valuable to like have a higher register, have a higher, and obviously this takes some vocal comfort too, because that takes you like trying some new stuff. Will, thanks for the follow. That takes you trying some new stuff and really challenging your vocal texture and vocal range to do something that maybe feels, uncomfortable or, it feels maybe foreign to you, at least right now. But I think it'll be either necessary for the song to retain people's attention and keep it really engaging, and or this is where I would add a feature to fill in that other gap, right? Where some other artists, even if you're writing together and you're collaborating on a lot of the structure of the song, bringing in another artist that can handle that higher register to give this push and pull between the two ranges. So when you come in, it's low, it's emotional, it's guttural, you really feel it, it hits you in the chest, it's got all of this tension to it. And then we have a relief from that low register with someone else that comes in with a higher rap voice or whatever it may be, right? All of like the ciphers and the features and collaborations that we love in rap, you're going to hear really broad differences in texture, really broad differences. And that's why they bring other people on a lot of times. It's not just to get a cool artist on there. Oftentimes it is, but a lot of times it's because we need a shift in the energy, especially over, in this case, like a 4.5 minute, or I guess 3 minute and 48 second song. Some shifts in energy are very, very necessary. So those are like a couple things that I would lean into. You obviously can rap. You obviously got lyrics. You got bars. You know what you're doing. Production itself it's cinematic and it's punchy and it's driven. I understand what you mean, but do you think lyricism makes a difference? Do you think lyricism? No, 100%. No, I got you. Are you asking, do you think lyricism overrides that? Is that like, do you think having the lyricism overrides the necessity for those changes? Let me know if that's kind of loosely the question that you're asking. Boom, 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 boom. I like it though, man. Obviously you got talent, 100%. Yeah, close enough, right? So, in my opinion, and many people might have many different perspectives on this, I think that it is, unfortunately, and I do think that, to certain people, unfortunately, I think psychologically, and so to me, this is more of an objective truth than it is subjective. So I know like everyone has a different opinion, and everyone might want to believe that lyricism overrides it. I think it's the opposite. I think you could have the most incredible wordplay and punchlines and emotion and storytelling and context and all of this stuff, amazing, performed in a way, not that this is you, but performed in a way that's unengaging, and you'll lose people. 100%. Like 100 times out of 100, the best lyrics and most incredible stuff in the world performed poorly, people will pass on it, 100%. You could have these, and this is 100% true and valid, and you can see this in modern music today. You could have the stupidest lyrics in the world. You could have dumbass lyrics that mean absolutely nothing, performed in a charismatic and catchy and really entertaining way, platinum. Kind of get what I'm saying? If you find the sweet spot, fabulous, dude. Amazing. But you kind of get what I'm saying? You could have the best. There's some incredible lyricists and poets out there that don't know how to emote and don't know how to like really test their vocal range, and they get looked over. And then you have other people that they kind of say bullshit. You know what I mean? They just say like random stuff. Like they're not really saying anything of importance, but they're charismatic, they're funny, they're quirky, they're whatever, or they're just like really credible in their lane and credible because of where they came from or whatever it is, and people get it. So if you can find the sweet spot, which I think is where like most great rap comes from, is that sweet spot. The sweet spot of being charismatic. Now, hopefully this gets your wheel spinning. It gets you hype. If you can find the sweet spot of I need to not only be a great lyricist, which you are, I need to not only be a great lyricist, but I need to execute that lyricism and translate that lyricism in a way that is super, super engaging and really, really inspiring to people. If you can find that sweet spot, which I think you're partially there, you're very, very close, but I think we could get a little bit more out of it. If you can find that sweet spot, I think it's a different song, right? And it's a different feeling, and you'll get so much more out of what you're doing. And that to me is kind of like the last little note right there. You're crushing it, man. Seriously. I hope you're hyped, man. I hope you're energized. I hope you feel like you got your wheels spinning a little bit, man. I love what you're doing. Y'all show some love to Ferdo. Man, I'm excited for what you're doing. I'm sorry for the pain. I'm sorry for the tension. I know what happens. Some of it is just life, man. It can be absolutely brutal. It can tear you apart, but it also can lead to some incredible healthy outlets in music, incredible outlets within your art and your craft and your skill sets that you have. Utilize it in that way, man. Utilize it as an outlet to express your emotion, because there's so many people that need to hear this stuff because they've also gone through similar tensions and similar pain and similar trauma, and they need to be able to have that outlet as well. And sometimes you don't know what language to put to the things that you're going through until someone says it for you or sings it or raps it for you. So that's the opportunity that you have to connect with people, which is powerful, man. So y'all, show some love, man. Show some love, show some love. Love and appreciate y'all so much, man. All love from this end. All love from this end. That's going to close us up for tonight, y'all. I got to get out of here. I got to rest my ears. Any genre, Almo, any genre. We are closed up. That was our last song. We're going to get out of here. I got to rest, and then we'll be back tomorrow evening. So definitely, if y'all are wanting to submit your music or submit revisions or whatever you want to do, definitely make sure that you are following or subscribed where it makes sense. We're on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. Just find Torvik Music at the link in my bio wherever you're at. And we'll hopefully we'll see y'all very, very soon. Of course, man. Of course. I appreciate you a lot. Hopefully we'll see y'all very, 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 very soon. Y'all, peace.